Yeah, we can just cut that short. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Left for Random Talk. Hi, Elementalist.
Hello, and we are live.
Yay.
Right, all right. Everything's good. Everyone's here. That's great. Awesome.
Wait, we forgot the kitchen sink.
Of course. Just getting something here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. And once again, so welcome everyone to the show. We, again, have a bit of things to cover today, as per usual. And yeah, so welcome. It is Thursday, as always. And here we go. So we've got a list today. We've got a few things that we're going to cover, like always.
Some things are not on the list, but that's okay.
Yes, more or less. So we'll start off with the usual and see where it goes. So first off, we've got DevStream 122 overview. New alert system coming, the Gas City rework plans, 2 new warframes shown off, Deck 12 exploiter, huge lord stuff coming with that, Plains of Duviri plans, Hydrolin or Hildrin, aka Sexy Buff Warframe Girl, and Rafflecopter mod confirmed, along with a new weapon.
Rafflecopter?
Yeah, it was a it was a brief moment where they showed that they have a Rafflecopter mod, an actual one in the game.
Oh my.
Right? Next on our list, we've got Machinima gets bought out by Outer Media. Privates all their videos and effectively erases several years' worth of creative content, and content creators suck.
Ouch.
Am I ever thankful we never joined Machinima?
Was tempted a long time ago.
Alright, and here we go to our usual suspects. EA continues to cancel Star Wars games, and people are getting fed up with it big time. Fans are demanding that Disney break their contract with EA. And on a slightly positive note, the Star Wars fan war is officially over, technically. And the fans have won. Rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
Next bit, we have the Steven Universe series end, what we thought of it overall, and what our thoughts are of the series. And moving on to our last minute additions. Fallout 76 is going free to play. People are beyond pissed, and I totally called it.
Sucks, but
And and of course we have Eximius Devs, which are the it's a new game on Steam.
Oh, I thought
Launched
that
a
was Metro X. Oh.
No.
Let me fix that.
Eximius Eximius Devs launch a DMC a copyright strike against themselves. And as it turns out, the publisher was screwing them out of their money. And this basically proves that publishers are nothing more than an outdated business aspect that is more parasitic than it is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically everything we've got for today, roughly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. I will open something on my phone, the DevStream stuff, because if I do it on my computer, it's going to kill me.
Just bring the knife out.
Right, so DevStream 122 overview. Right. Yep. Always go to the official website. So, about a week ago, I want to say, the DevStream came out, and actually they showed something rather shocking for a time. Rather shocking. They actually have presented a roadmap for the game in the format of a whiteboard.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was kind of course, they took a jab at Anthem. If we rename Warframes to Javelins, and Rebecca's like, no! Poor thing. Hello, LT. Welcome to the show. All right. So of course the javelin, the little bit of the javelin joke. They did show off some information in regards to where the game is going and where's it heading.
Yep.
So they are changing a few things. So according to the, hold on, someone's
According to the
at home.
ding dong.
I'll be right back in a sec. I'll be right back. Because some people don't know when to get a fucking key.
And he's gone. Let's have a party. Nah. How are you guys doing today? I am very tired. Well, there goes. That.
And I come back to laughter. What I miss.
So, Stuart. Yeah, we know LT. We're not there yet. Stuart doesn't bark. He screams.
Oh, poor thing. All right. Let's get back on track here. Yeah, it turns out it was actually the FedEx truck. Someone lived here when they really didn't. Poor fellow. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, as I was going to say, they are changing a few things and they are focusing on some shorter turnaround content this year for Warframe. So let's get into some of it. So the early for this year is the Deck 12 Exploiter, which, according to the information, is a new Valis event with the Exploiter Orb, the one that's patrolling the Valis and is constantly in a blizzard.
Yay. Finally, you get to deal with that thing.
Well, it's interesting that they're calling it the Deck 12 Exploiter, implying that this is the thing that caused the Deck 12 incident. Oh, that would be interesting. What if this thing actually doesn't just need to have cooling systems? What if in reality it has, what's it called? What if in reality it has like just heat and other elemental powers to it? That would be interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And I'm curious to see, does it talk like Prophet Taker in rhymes and childisms? I don't think so, but still, it's going to be interesting.
I'm curious, like, I can hear myself.
Mm-hmm.
This entire time I've been wondering, like, is Deck 12 a deck of a ship? Or is it what they're calling a floor on a building?
It's a floor in Fortuna. Not Little Duck. Rude Zood mentions Deck 12, and they all mention it. It's basically a level in Fortuna, which was more residential based, where the rest is more like concentrated on building and everything. So it wound up, when the Deck 12 incident happened, a lot of innocent people got caught up when Neff was trying to take out Solaris United. Ironically, he missed the major players, but still pretty much destroyed everybody else, including Rude's. Go ahead.
So you know how there's that bug where the Exploiter Orb is in Fortuna? Like, Snow was actually experiencing that while we were in a call. And I'm starting to think, what if Neff unveiled Exploiter Orb inside Fortuna?
Oh no, that would be crazy.
He would do it. He would very likely do
I
that.
don't doubt it. And there's like, I noticed this when I was exploring Fortuna a little while ago. Entrances for heavy vehicles.
Yep.
So I'm willing to bet that's how it's going to get in.
Yeah.
Hold on, what did LT say? If it was the other one in the lake nearby wouldn't be there. That one, the one that overheats if it moves. Yeah, exactly. That was something, a problem according to the information me and a friend pulled from Corpus Data. Apparently, an early problem with the orbs is that they had a very big issue with heating up, and so they couldn't solve this. And whenever they would be deployed, they'd have to like just jump into the coolant and just slowly over time cool down. But apparently, right to fix it if the profit taker's anything to go on. So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, basically, Rude's sisters, the ones who helped build the Chatter network, basically got burned in that fire too,
Mm-hmm.
along with Thursday, Yutiko's friends. Basically, everyone of importance to the fight got singed in that fire. Even Little Duck had friends and family there too. The only ones who didn't get affected by this were, of course, Smokefinger, which, he's not from Fortuna originally, so no, it would make sense
And the
that he doesn't have
Biz.
family there. And, of course, the Biz. Ironic, isn't it, that he's always away when something major happens? What's that saying goes? He's always there where the evidence isn't?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Do not trust that guy. Moving on, we have Gas City Alamagam, or whatever it's called. Basically, they've shown off the tile stills for the reworked Gas City, but with a new coat of paint. Basically, comes with comes with a new enemy type, or new enemy types, new game modes, and new things to earn and learn. Actually, Cole sent me a screenshot of that a little while ago. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. So he showed me one of the stills for the new tile set. I'm gonna show it here. You can put it on screen if you want.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sentient.
Again, it's as if Neff's stupidity has just affected everyone else in the corpus. Let's capture whole sentience and just have them behind glass. There's no way this is gonna fail.
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
With Snow. Well, I think the Biz used to work for Neff before something made him change sides, which would explain why he knows so much about the terror operations. Like it's no lie that we know he used to work for Neff or similar. But wasn't he a part of the group that was supposed to capture Venari?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
Basically, from what I've been able to glean, again from decryptions, the Biz used to be part of the Corpus military, like a commander.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who strategized and led forces against the enemies of the Corpus. However, something happened that made him stop. It's not clear if this was his own, like something he did, which directly resulted in some people getting hurt, or he just grew just old and grew, crestfallen about everything. However, according to Little Duck, she's scared of him specifically because she doesn't want to be what he was, implying that whatever he used to do was that serious. If he did work for Nefanyo, it would explain a few things. But again, I believe he was more focused on, security and everything for the corpus, more so than one group in particular. At least in my opinion. The new NAP. Exactly. And based on the screenshot alone, I'm more curious to see who these people are getting hooked up to the machines. Where the crewmen are working on very obviously other people in the shot. And I want to know, like, what are these people? There is a larger version of the image showing a bit more details, and these guys attached to the harnesses, I want to say, their heads are encased in some sort of Warframe organic helmet, and I think I know what's happening here. I think one of two possibilities. One, they are attempting to control sentience like Warframes, or more likely, based on that the other guy in the corner there, to the next to the guy with the screen,
Mm-hmm.
to the left of the image. he's got pieces of Warframe components on him. I think they're trying to build their own Warframes. Not modification. I guess a step up from the Zanuka project.
So essentially, they are stealing Alad V's idea and just going with it, like going with their own way with it.
Exactly. Except instead of trying to mix the technologies between Corpus and Warframe component, it seems like they're attempting to go full on Warframe with sentient components and seeing if that's a better creation.
Hmm.
That is scary to consider because DE has just stated we're going to be facing new enemies. What if these are the hybrid Warframes we're going to be fighting?
Valkyrie's not gonna be happy about this. Yeah.
Oh, I can just see it. She's just screaming in the corner somewhere. Age.
Valkyrie, we'd like you to meet your distant sister. What?
Just screaming. Actually, you know what this is reminding me of? Like big time. The Evangelion movie, the mass production Evas. That's what I'm getting from this. Except smaller and not invincible. Also, they lack the creepy red smiles.
Yes.
Ugh, that really freaks me out. Let's see, moving on, we have the new, I guess, raid mode or raid system, which is called the Wolf of Saturn 6.
This is gonna be interesting because this is gonna be like the first time I've ever experienced something like a raid.
Yeah, well, so according to DE, or the notes here, it is, we are taking inspiration from the alert system and are implementing daily/weekly challenges that are given to you by a new character that will last for many weeks. This involves a somewhat syndicate-like system with different ranks, primarily cosmetic and higher-end power rewards, not a lot that will affect MR or mastery rank. The story behind these will be revealed via an animated web comic available in-game. There is a new villain in-game that will be introduced, which I'm looking forward to. Difficulty scaling will be here for those looking for regular Warframe experience, as well as extreme challenges for those who like to push the meta. Its limits. I think someone screwed up here, and let them rise up. No, rewards in the image above are placeholders. So they had a bunch of like prime weapons there, but that was just a placeholder, so don't expect that. All right, so speculation time. Who's this new villain? What are we thinking?
Huh. I'm not sure.
Okay, you know what? I'll ask this to the chat in general. Chat, what do you guys think? What faction do you think this villain will be a part of?
What if you was similar to how Ordis used to be?
Hmm?
Who? What are you talking about, Snow?
Don't look at me. I have no. Wow. Oh, she's talking about when Ordis used to be known as Orden Karis, the Beast of Bones.
Yeah.
I think she's talking in reference to Biz.
Yeah, she's talking about the biz.
Wait.
That is one hell of a delay for you then, Snow. Holy crap.
Sorry about that.
Or you're just listening on and off.
Let's see. I guess no one really has an idea for the new villain. I think I'm willing to believe that this new villain for this this webcomic or in-game enemy, I think it's not going to be Grenier or Corpus. I think it might be a new character for a new faction. I'm willing to bet.
Huh.
Because most of the time, whenever we Because as of late, the focus has been like shifting away from the traditional enemies as per usual, and it's kind of like focusing more on newer one-shot villains or one-shot characters, like the Sentients or Nefanya or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I am curious to see what the Wolf of Saturn 6 is going to be, especially like where this is going for the story. And this in-game webcomic idea is kind of smart. I think they'd stop doing the physical copies of comics because the sales are just too low, I think.
That and like, not everybody has the money to spend on a comic. Like if it's like a digital comic you can read, most people don't actually pay for a webcomic unless they're on Patreon. But still, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Maybe he's a leader of a merc that sells himself out for whoever. Okay, maybe. A mercenary team. That would be interesting. Would be cool to fight with or fight against. As for that comment of the webcomic, yeah, because the thing about the Warframe webcomics that led into the quests way back in the day, those were fine, but they were extremely short comics. And yeah, they address some things, like why is Vehek a floating drone, or who's Dr. Tengus, why did Cephalon Suda become Cephalon, yada yada. That all that is pretty good and everything, but these comics were extremely short, and for the price points they were being sold for, it really wasn't worth it. You were better off just looking online for a copy of it on an official like comic book reader website. However, with this instead, where the comic is now being sent to you in game by completing a sort of quest/reward system, I think it's a smarter idea. More people will get exposed to it, and DE won't lose as much money printing as it would if it was physically sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I find it interesting. I want to see where this comic goes. And again, like I said before, they are starting to branch out a bit more for Warframe. Like we've talked about before, them going out of their way and starting to reach out for other people, buying things, yada yada. So maybe that Warframe CGI movie isn't too far. Maybe. Alright, moving on to the New War. For those of you unaware, this is our next big cinematic quest, and is in active developing, starting mocap on Monday, which I'm guessing was this Monday. Everything above is aimed for a pre-TennoCon release. So we're going to get all this information right at TennoCon. So keep an eye out for that. Actually, they did show off Lotus's mother, the massive sentient station in that image. Let me see if I can find it.
By the way, the new faction is called Plains of Duviri. It's not a place, it is the actual name of the new faction.
Oh, okay.
They have concept art for them.
Yeah. I'll try and get that as well. Again, working with limitations here,
fine.
i.e., potato. Okay, here we go. So they did show off the new image of the sentient space station that will destroy everyone, aka Lotus's mother.
That's a big bitch.
When I saw it, I immediately said, "That's a huge bitch."
Like, just so people are aware, the term that for me, like, the term "that's a big bitch" came from when I was working at a bead store, and this guy that was like 7 or 8 feet tall came into the shop, and like the first words out of my friend's mouth, like without him hearing, was, "Damn, that's a big bitch." And like we ran around the shop trying to figure out the best way to take a picture without this guy feeling alienated in any way. So I took a picture of her next to the door, and I asked her like how tall she was. He must have heard it, because he told the guy that actually ran the shop, I am 6 or 7 feet tall, and he was so chill about it. But oh
Jesus.
my gods! Hey, that's a Grineer ship.
Yeah. Huh?
That's tiny.
Yes. Now we see how the galleons and everything compare to that. Now, I think based on the image, I think I know what's happening here.
Hmm.
I think that I don't even know what we can call this. Oh, cool. That image they provide. Nice. Very nice.
That is really cool.
I don't know, actually. I think it's because when we last saw the Forward Unto Dawn, it was slowly approaching Requiem, in the trailers. I think that's why.
I don't
Anyway.
see. I don't see that with this ship, LT. I think more of Ceres from Galaxy Quest.
No, I see what he means by it. Like, the closest ship kind of looks like what we saw towards the end of Forward Unto Dawn. I see what he means by that. I can see it.
Hmm.
Anyway. But I think I know what's happening here. I think I know ships are getting sucked in. As we saw with the Chimera quest, the sentients now are, because they can't reproduce normally, they're just starting to turn organics into a form of sentience. And I think what is happening here is that the ship is gathering both biomass and inorganic material and just grinding it up to start spitting out more and more sentience.
So she's a meat grinder.
Literally a meat grinder, yes. Oh, I can imagine. And we can see it here. It isn't just Corpus ships; it's frigates from, Grineer ships. It's Corpus frigates as well. Everyone is in danger now.
You can even see like just a few random asteroids in there.
Yeah, and escape vessels too. Like, this is Ballas was right on the money when he said, we've alienated potential allies. This really is a huge war and one we gotta win effectively.
Yeah.
It is not going to.
This is gonna be. I don't know if this is gonna be fun or absolute hell to go through.
It's gonna be hell.
And also fun, because it is
I
still,
know
at
it.
the end of the day, a game.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how we're going to take this thing out. Like, are we gonna do a Death Star? Is that what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a little fun. It's like just flying in, looking for, and then suddenly getting attacked by a Darth Vader sentient that just flies around. It's like, and quick, call in the Millennium Falcon, i.e., Ordis.
Like, if that happens, there has to be like Octavia latched onto a ship playing the Star Wars theme.
Yes.
What?
Hold on. Wait, really?
You're not.
Ah. So, I see. That is interesting.
Oh,
That is very interesting.
ominous.
I'm curious now. Like, does this mean that DE's already had everything set up from the beginning? And right now, all they're doing is just hyping us up? Interesting. Still, it's gonna be fun to face this thing. With Sentinel. Oh, Jesus. So we really are gonna be fighting sentient.
Oh,
Ugh. That explains why we got the parastasis and why we have mods that weaken sentience. Everyone start leveling up everything from Oberon. I mean, not Oberon. From oh god, Umbra. Start leveling it like crazy.
yep.
Okay, so I'm guessing just dialogue and everything hasn't been set up. Okay. Or it could have been a vertical slice for the new war. Possibly.
Time to max your amps too. Yeah. I
Uh,
still need to do another orb heist. Like that is very important that I do that next time I play.
yeah, I am nearly set with what's it called? With getting the last rank I need with the Solaris United. After that,
Son of a
then
bitch.
start doing. It has been a slow and tedious process. Because you just can't, you can't just give everything in one go. They screw you over by saying your standing limit's been reached for this. Like motherfucker. But yeah, that was all about the new war. Next is the bit of information for Empyrean, aka Railjack. So we're getting right into that. Hoping to have the ability to add these to all galleons, not a system only accessible from one specific place, but a large incorporation into the game. All ships are being reworked to include Arcwing missions. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. So we can modify the Railjack. So modding in Railjack will be slightly different as we explore damage and difficulty, less stacking of attributes, trying out our ideas for a simpler, more easily balanced damage system in Railjack. New art is being done for all faction ships, including new fighter classes. Which, hold on, I'm just going to click the link real quick so I can take a look. Oh, geez. Alright, so yeah, new ships for the Corpus. It looks like a jet.
Boy.
Awesome. It's going to be so fun to fight that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Next up is, of course, the aforementioned new group. The one that D.E. Rebecca said, speculate, speculate. It's like she knows. She knows. These are the group is being referred to as the Duvari
Oh
for
yeah,
now.
these guys. Will from Snow, will each person get an Empyrean, or will it be the Dojo Alliance based construction? I'm hoping it's Dojo Alliance.
I think it's dojo specific because you doing this alone to build such a fucking thing that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, especially to get the Excalibur that powers it.
It's gonna be such a pain in the ass, but whatever. So going into details for the Duvari,
Hold on.
and that is
There we go.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
All
like
right.
the screen was blank because I have to resize it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Into an active. If you want to join us, the invitation's open. Anyway, the Duvari. So, a new tile set and faction you've never seen before. Current target this fall. Here is the trailer, the image. Current rework. Okay, but that's it. There's literally no information except here's what they are. So let's take a piece from Rebecca and let's speculate. The fuck are these things?
Well, they are cybernetic.
Obviously.
But I'm
What do
noticing
they say?
something. That blue
Go
arm
ahead.
is longer than the other arm.
Oh, it is. So this is Ballas's people.
Give or take, yeah.
That would explain why Ballas is bloomin'. So wait, could this be that the Duvari are actually like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like this is the base people that created the Orokin. Like this is the species, I suppose, that started the Orokin lineages. Old Orokin. Yeah, I can see a bit of Grineerism to it. But it looks too different to be a Grineer. Look at the design. Look at the armaments. Grenier is more, what's the word? Ugly, for lack of a better term. More practical. This is more ceremonial. Now, you know what else I've noticed?
Hmm.
For the little guy. The armor design for it is almost identical or has a similar theme to, what's his name? To the Valbin Deluxe skin.
By the way, Snow thinks it,
Yep.
Orcan era Grenier slave. You know what I think? I think the
Shoot.
Duvari are the Orcans that weren't killed. Like the ones that,
Descendants of
or
Orcans.
no, like the Orcans that just weren't killed. They were not a problem for the Tenno in any way. They weren't killed, and they're still around.
Possible. It's still interesting to see them. Again, it's very obviously that these people are from an Orcan era. Very obviously. It's just, we don't know if these are Orcan or if this is like something that spawned from the Orcan. Yeah, okay, hold on. I'll bring this up real quick. What is a good... You know what? Fuck it, we'll use this. But yeah, no, here's something that I've just noticed when looking at these two. They have an almost identical design to Valbin's deluxe skin.
Lower class Orcan.
It's almost a one. Oh, lower class Orcan, interesting.
It is very similar.
Concerning. Exactly. We know that the Corpus are descendants of the Orcan. Many of them have the same genetics and so on and so forth. However, Balis is quite unusual. He is, again, blue-skinned, weird arm, golden robes, etc. But the way he presents himself, the way he talks, it shows a sort of air of elegancy. With this Duvari, what do we call it? Counselor? Priest?
From the looks of it, from the looks of things, he's definitely higher up. Like, definitely a noble.
Alright, so this Duvari nobleman,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can call it, shares a lot of Balas's clothing designs. The boots, the socks, the general aptitude of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm leaning towards more that the Duvari are likely what started the Orcan Empire. That they basically are the ones who came in and said, you know what? We can make an empire like this. Let's make it as we see fit. And then from there, just kind of started.
Then it just
'Cause again,
spiraled downhill from there.
Exactly. It's entirely possible that these Duvari still believe themselves so high and mighty, but have decided to deviate and instead built their empire in a smaller section, far away from the Orcan Empire itself. No, I'm not saying in Tau, mind you, but somewhere else. Maybe Mars or somewhere. Well, maybe not Mars, but you know what I mean. While the Orcan continued to just kind of build and build and build and created an empire of gold and white to their liking. And again, it's entirely possible that some Duvar joined the Orcan Empire because they wanted, the power and prestige that came with it, while some remained in this, I guess we could call it a minimalist empire, or something to that nature.
I think the best way I can describe it, the Orcan were all about image, while the Duvari were all about practicality. There actually have been numerous accounts in ancient history where a kingdom will be built up just for luxury and won't actually work. Well, it'll work, but only for a short time.
It collapses.
Yeah, it collapses hard. But there will be a kingdom built within it that is exactly the same, but they are smart about it. They are aware of it. The Orokin, they built everything because they are so vain and so arrogant, and they prefer things to be their way. Like, they took animals and they twisted them because they wanted them to look different. They wanted them to look good. You said
Yes.
every time the queens come up, you explain this. Orokin don't like things being the same. You either change yourself, or you're a slave, or you get the hell out.
Exactly.
In this case, the Duvari, they don't care. If you look the same, you look the same. Probably still a slave, which I don't care for. But they're not building things in their image or to their liking. They're building things to be alive, to survive, to I can't word it, to actually function.
Interesting. Well, there's also another possibility. Maybe these are the Orokin, or the Duvari are so stubborn at the fact that the Orokin Empire's fallen that they refuse to change with the times. Because if we can look at that throne for a second, that is falling to pieces.
Yep.
That has clearly been decayed for a good while. And the fact that this Duvari it continues to sit on it suggests to me that this is also a people who can't let go of the fact that the Orokin Empire is gone, and instead are just kind of like holding on to what used to be in a vain hope that it will return to how it was. Again, this Duvari does look to me as one who believes themselves to be very important, very prideful,
Mm-hmm.
and again, quite literally sitting upon a throne while you stand before them. That's another possibility, at least from the image we've seen. Still, I am curious to see where this all goes eventually. But for now, I suppose this is as far as our speculation can really go. So to recap, we believe the Duvari are or were part of the Orokin Empire. It's possible that they build things to function rather than look pretty. It is also possible that the Duvari are so stuck in the past they refuse to change with the times. And it's possible that Ballas is a member of the species.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along to, let's see. Okay, so moving on, a bunch of housekeeping. Here we go. New player experience. Making the game more accessible to new players is a piece of feedback we hear a lot, and we are working on it. Revisiting the beginning of the game, and they release a tease.
I saw that picture.
Or a teaser image, which I find kind of odd. I guess we can put it again on screen. It's called the new intro. Who is this person?
I don't know. Like,
There is. Go ahead.
when I first played the game, it was very simple. You woke up, you killed the Grenier, and you got the hell out of there. I come back to the game, you wake up, the Grenier puts something on you, you kill them all, and you get the hell out of there. They've gone through
And
the
then leave into the-
introduction so many times. Like, I understand they want to do that. Like, whenever I come up with a story idea, I run through the introduction a couple dozen times before I get something that I like.
Fair enough. To me, I've always said this, and I guess I'll continue to say it till I'm blue in the face, I suppose. To me, the whole Warframe introduction has been the different introductions has been a case of we're seeing something from a different person's perspective, someone else who's just woken up in a different part of the galaxy. So for the hold on, I'll be right back. I need to turn on the light. It is getting
Yeah.
here.
So far, the only thing YouTube has complained about is audio. Oh, wrong button.
All right. Back. So yeah, basically, to me, what's always been happening whenever they do an intro, we're seeing someone else waking up from cryo, is how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was part of the original Warframe trailer, the one where Vor walks in and the Grineer are on an ice world and they're here to capture New Tenno. That one is basically the story of the Excalibur that wakes up and now has to fight his way along with the Frost, uh, the Nova, and the Frost, the Nova. Oh no, sorry, the Mag and the Volt, and then escape from there. That's how I've seen it. It's a battle where Volt's injured but isn't killed, and it sparks his quest to hunt down the Warframes a bit further, leading into the Ghoul comic. The second intro is the player intro, the official, this is where your story starts introduction, basically, where the player is reawoken from cryostasis but is captured by the Grineer and now has to, a baptism by fire rather than a gentle waking up from cryosleep. This new intro, based on the statues and this individual here, I believe this one is more focused on telling the legend of the Warframes.
Yeah.
Before the reawakening. How, as we all know, it's been, 5,000 years or something like that since the end of the Orcan Empire?
Give or take, yeah.
Since the collapse, I suppose. And during this time, Warframes have, and we see examples of this all over the game, Warframes have drifted from physical beings to beings of legend, leading to the collapse. We've seen it with Barrow Katir and his, the death of his mother, how he, was calling out for Inaros to come save him.
Yeah.
He's been dead for centuries. We see this in different places as well, like the Ostron, how they speak of the Tenno, like Nakak has the masks of the Warframes, how their legends have inspired children to fight and play as the Warframes and the Grineer. Yes, Gara, the Warden, aka Revenant, all these things. And it's very clear that the Warframes have drifted into this sort of great legendary concept, something I actually enjoy. And this trailer, or this image, lends credence to this. I believe that this person who is standing in front of the excuse me, standing in front of the Warframe statues, I do not believe this is Palladino, first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's not her. She's wearing black, Palladino wears red, more synthetic.
That was another thing. Haro. During all of this. Like, we have Gara as a legend, we have Revenant as a legend, and we have Inaros as a legend. Then there's fucking Haro. What the fuck?
A living Warframe, effectively.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I know who this is. Hold on. I need to find the comment. Keep going.
It's Little Duck, isn't it?
No. Hold on, where's it? Why did I spell? Okay. In the Ghoul comic, one that introduces the ghouls properly, shows what they're capable of, and etc., there is an Ostron child amongst them. And during this time, she's blinded physically by a Grineer who attacks her. She loses her sight entirely. She can't see, but she can still sense things around her. She's blindfolded and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the comic, her sight is restored by an Orokin machine. It gives her pale white eyes and gold around her. What's the word? Around her
retina.
Around her eye. No. Outside the eye. basically she's connected to an Orokin ship. She can see things. She can see technology, realizing what's happening. But her body's not built for it. Mitsuki, that's it. Let me see if I can find. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the comic like crazy, trying to get to the end.
That's alright.
Oh, if I know what's happening. Yeah, by the way, during this time as well, Vor is actually defeated. Not only by the Tenno, but by Little Duck as well. Like I said, girl is quite capable.
I almost forgot. There's also Titania as a legend. Somewhat.
Yes. Okay, here we go. At the end of the comic, she's recruited by the Unum. She's turned into a quill, and her clothing is remarkably similar to the clothing we see in this person wearing the trailer. If we want to show it.
Oh, yeah. The bags under her eyes are now gold. Okay.
Exactly. I believe that this person standing before the Tenno is Mitsuki. And I think what is happening here is that when this new introduction is made, Mitsuki arrives to an Ostron temple or something of that nature that honored the legendary warframes, carved statues out of them, and legends like that. However, she knows these aren't just mere legends. She knows that these are real individuals and that the Tenno Awakening is nigh. And the question becomes, how long before they reawaken? Then immediately cut to the Tenno, to your warframe. The new stasis, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, it's going to be very exciting. I don't think this would be another this is how your story starts kind of things. I honestly believe, again, another instance of a Tenno waking up from cryostasis elsewhere. That is what I believe it is.
Vor is fucking dead.
No, he's alive after this. He actually fights his way out of this infested Orokin ship and returns.
God damn it.
Like I said, the old man's tough. Basically, the comic takes place and at least from what I can tell, the comic takes place after the first awakening, roughly. I'm sorry, the first player introduction, the one where you're on the ice planet.
Okay.
And this one, they escape, they defeat Vor, but they don't kill him. And this inspires Vor to start searching for Orokin reliquaries, and he becomes more interested in learning about the warframes and how to stop them. During the Ghoul comic, he encounters more warframes and actually first uses the Ascaris device, revealing that it's recently been constructed, and uses it to try and burrow into the mind of a warframe, where he faces the Lotus and makes that the first discovery that the warframes aren't just organic. There's something more behind it. At the end of this comic, where he's trapped, manages to escape somehow, reclaim his key, and this is what inspires his hunt for the warframes, entering into the second introduction of the game. And then we have this new one. Again, I want to see where this goes. The legends and everything. It's going to be very exciting. And if it is Mitsuki, it will be nice. Alright, let's see what else we got. Okay, we've got like 2 more things here. Next one, we got Arkwing. Going to perform an audit of current content, redesigning and reworking Arkwing to come with Railjack to make the system feel like more of the part of a complete whole. Arkwing Glaive also coming. A massive fucking thing. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Yeah, trading improvements, more slots, Tennogen info. Round 15 of Tennogen was announced. See full lineup. Yada. Oh yeah, and then there's what's the word I'm looking for here? There is... Oh, Jesus, what's the word I'm looking for? Right, TennoCon's also coming soon.
Yeah.
Which, that's going to be interesting to see. Just everyone gets to go and see the new trailer.
Yeah, everyone gets to go. Well, we're all the way over here
Mm-hmm.
in America.
Well, no, I think it's coming. This one's coming here, the U.S. I think.
No, it's London, Ontario, I believe. I'm not sure. I'll check. I'll check.
All right. So people are gonna, like I said, if people want to go there, they get there. Yada.
Also, that oh wait, no, that's not new. That's old. Never mind.
All right.
I was gonna mention the Limbo skin.
No, that's been done a while now.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that's everything for Warframe or the dev stream. So yeah, look forward to all that and more. Jesus.
Yeah, it's London, Ontario, Canada.
Okay. All right, everyone to Canada.
Yeah. I don't have a passport, so no.
Actually, I'm curious to see what the cosplays are gonna look.
I'm very curious to see what they're gonna look like. Like I've seen like snippets where it shows like people dressed up as Warframes, and they look amazing.
Oh, exactly. Again, but that is not an easy either.
Yeah.
Again, it's the flaw with Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
With Warframes, there are no fucking eyes.
It's not just that. Like Warframes, to put simple, are naked. They have like armor on them, yes, but for the to put simply, they are very much naked. When you cosplay as a Warframe, you are wearing a skin suit with bits attached to it, so you are technically naked.
So very naked.
Like it's so weird. I can never really look at Stalker like with any kind of respect, because all I think is that dude's fucking naked.
No, I like it when people dress up as like near,
Yeah.
even NPCs, because at least with that they're not naked.
Yes. You know what's funny? I actually technically I went to Minecon this year. Wait, not Vauban Prime. What? No, Vauban is the only exception. He actually has clothes. The same thing with Limbo. Everyone else is not wearing anything.
Also true. Like there are some that have fucking clothing, which is so weird.
Yeah. I just need one more 19 extract to build Vauban Prime, by the way. But I don't know why I'm bringing up Minecon. I think I'm a little bitter that because I did attend Minecon, I should have gotten a cape for it.
Oh.
Because like when you get a special cape, like in fact you just get a cape in general for attending Minecon, and they decided to have it as a live stream this year, and I was there. I watched it all day. Nothing.
Still no. It's like I still want that cape.
I really wanted the red one with the creeper face when Minecon first started. But I do wonder, does like TennoCon do something similar? Like if you attend, you get something?
I think so, but that's more like with buying the ticket. You get access to things in game.
Yeah.
So it's not much.
But then again, like when you watch a Warframe live stream, you still get something just for being there.
Yeah.
Regardless of them doing the Twitch drop thing.
Yeah, but that's the difference. The thing is that when you watch the TennoCon, you'll get the thing they advertise for, the items for the game. But if you buy the ticket and actually, I guess, sort of go there, you what's the word? You get more things like Prime crap.
Yeah.
Or access to more things that will come out soon. .tm.
.tm.
But but other than that, it's just the same general thing, right? But yeah, so oops, I forgot to mention. All this time, I was so focused on that, I forgot to mention frames. Fuck.
You forgot the new frames. I've been sitting here waiting for you to talk about that beauty with the gun.
Motherfucker. It's just like, I'm so focused on making sure the stream goes steady that my mind's like, and...
You're focused on that? I'm the one in control of this!
I mean, keeping it on track, as in topics and crap. Making sure everything, like, all the topics are still sound, not we suddenly do our favorite type of pop. Right, so we'll bring it up real quick. Who made this, by the way? Hold on. Who put this image? For fuck's sake, is there no good image of the new Warframes?
Other than the butt
Fuck
shot?
me. Other than the fucking butt shot.
I think that's the only one. Like, unless...
It's like...
No, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to put
I
don't want to put an actual YouTube video up.
It's like, fuck it. We're going with the fucking butt shot. I don't care.
Actually, I might actually have an idea.
Too late. It's already there.
It's just me, or does the guy with the cloak look a bit like Limbo?
Voice. Like, fuck me. Damn it, LT. He just sent something else. But no, but basically, yeah, I can see it. Little Wimbo. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it looks like the love. Wait, no, it looks like Piccolo.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll never unsee it now. Also, he's got eyes in his hand.
So he's like, what's this? That thing from
Pan's Labyrinth?
Pan's Labyrinth. People mentioned that already. But yeah, so these are the two new frames. So the one floating is called Wisp, and they showed nothing about this one. The other one is actually my new favorite Warframe. Fuck you, I'm ready to fight. And that is Hildryn.
I love her.
Actually, she's amazing.
I absolutely love her. She's mine.
She's a flat out bodybuilder. And I find it hilarious. It's like, we have Rhino, we have Atlas, and now we have Hildryn. It's like, DE, I'm starting to sense a pattern here. They did go over some of her abilities. She's more, tankier than most?
She is quite literally Zarya from Overwatch, because Zarya is a bodybuilder woman with a giant gun. And
exactly.
Heavy from TF2. She is quite literally heavy. I love her.
Everyone pointed that out too. She's Zarya. She's basically Zarya.
Like,
to a T. And I'm like, doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. Like, as long as, like, she plays good or she's fun, then it doesn't matter. And it's Zarya with a Y, not an I, LT. I'm saying that now because I fucking love Zarya. I can't play as her, but I love her. No, I do not have a type. Shifty eyes.
But no, basically, I love everything. Buffness, the second she drops, I'm going to spend every waking moment trying to farm to get this thing, or just getting it with plat. This is the one frame I'm going to shill out for money for it.
I still need to work to get Baruch. I am By the way, the rage is
the-
getting stronger just looking at this image.
DE has recently been just dropping frame after frame. It's like, guys, please, let us get one at least.
Yeah, I just got Garuda. In fact, I just formed her for the first time. And now there's Baruch. And I'm starting to work on Baruch, and now there's these motherfuckers.
There's supposed to be 3 coming out soon. These are just the 2. It's like, you thought there was just 2, but there's actually 3.
I also find the glitch was with Hildren very funny.
That gun gets stuck on her. It's a literal dick.
She's got one hell of a cannon. Is that your cannon, or are you just happy to see me?
I get that it's supposed to be, it's a glitch and everything, but I hope it doesn't stick. Like, that would just be awkward as all hell.
Wow.
But yeah. I like that her alternate is just another, I guess, exalted weapon. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I mean, it sucks, but it's fine. And then we have Wisp. What they've spoken about that one.
Mm-hmm.
They said little to nothing about Wisp's abilities or
because they're
powers
not. They don't have a concrete concept for that. They just have his design and his name. They don't know what he's going to do.
Exactly, and that is the thing. And yeah, like LT, like Ghost Freak from Ben 10, and he's not wrong. Is this the actual Ghost Warframe? And
who knows?
Like, is this the second? It'd be funny. It's like, first we got Revenant, now we have another ghost. The fuck, guys?
Wait a minute. Wisps.
Yes.
Wisp is if we go with like traditional will-o-wisp, wisps are little spirits in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I look up wisp, it brings up an RPG. If you talk to like any Scotsman or Irishman, they will tell you like will-o-wisps are they're okay. Here it is. They're ghostly green lights seen by travelers at night, especially over bogs, swamps, or marshes. They resemble a flickering lamp and is said to recede if approached, drawing travelers from the safety. They lead people to their doom or to danger.
Okay.
So
is this going to be another nature warframe with, I guess, working for Titania?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. But I don't think they're going to, because remember, Revenant changed it. I don't think it's going to be the same. What's the word? I don't think it's going to be the same name going forward. I think it's going to change after a while. At least in my opinion. It's probably going to change to something else.
So will-o-wisps are found in a European legend, also in a bit of an Asian legend, but they're all different. To put simple, wisps are metaphorical for a goal that is impossible to reach. Some people find it sinister, some people don't. It brings like false hope. So something tells me that a wisp, this new warframe, he's going to do something different. I don't know how, but like I have a theory that like maybe it's something similar to like one of Mirage's abilities is to replace an item in the map with something that'll kill the enemy. Mostly it's going to be the consoles that they press to trigger the alarm. If Wisp is similar to a will-o-wisp, or jack-o'-lantern, because that's actually another one, or a hobby lantern, what he would probably do is turn the consoles or anything that the enemies can interact with into something that they just can't touch, similar to like Limbo's banishment, but for the environment instead. Or he can turn it into a death trap like Mirage.
Well, here's an interesting thought to take into consideration. Where do you think we'll encounter this Warframe, Wisp specifically? Do you think he'll be on the plains of Eidolon, or do you think to the Valis?
Wisps usually appear over swamps, bogs, and marshes. So not the plains of Eidolon. That's too shrub steppe desert, like where I live.
So it's entirely possible that this one could be found in, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Probably
This one
on
could...
Ceres, when you think about it.
Okay. No, I was going to assume that maybe we'll be returning to the Silver Grove and find this creature. Because that seems to be the most likely situation. Like, we get a contact from New Loca's leaders asking us to return to the Grove because something's disturbed it. We arrive and then we just see Wisp before it vanishes again. And then go like that.
Yeah.
It's possible. As for Hildern, I am curious to see where she will, where we'll get her, if anything. I think maybe this might be a Steel Meridian quest. I think.
Maybe.
Well, it'd be interesting, I
Yeah.
think. If it is Steel Meridian, it'd be... Oh, hold on, someone's here. I'll be right back again.
Yeah.
I am just being called left, right, and sideways.
In the meantime, it's quiet here because somebody took the dogs outside and likely left with them for a while, or just entirely. In case anybody's wondering about the typing, if you can hear that, I'm talking with one of my friends for D&D. uh...
All right. So yeah. Other than that, I think now that covers everything in Warframe.
LT mentioned the
from...
giant glaive from Orgtenogenera.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned the giant glaive. It's an interesting weapon. I don't think we'll be able to use it on... It'll just likely be in space with the Arcwing.
Yeah. That giant glaive was freaky as hell. I'm excited to use it.
Again, I see it and I immediately get flashbacks to the weapon the mass production Eva's used, ironically. Same thing, but just curved ever so slightly. Alright. So now I think we can stop it there and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into the next bit of information tonight, and that is Machinima getting bought out by Outer Media. And of course, them privating every video they've ever created in the process. Now, a lot of people believe that this is the end, like Machinima's dead, and like Outer Media is kind of terminated and blah, 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 blah. I personally don't think so. Because again, in a situation like this, specifically, a buyout like this, it's traditionally like they'll hide everything and just kind of show the person that they're being bought out. Hey, this is what we do, yada, yada, yada. And from there, they just pick and choose what they'll keep, But after a while, I think, like I said, I think the videos are going to come back. Machinima will be probably rebranded into something else, but I think they'll come back, with everything. But that said, people are angry, that we're talking about, what is this, 10 plus years or something like that? Of just like videos and content and everything of that nature. Just
Oh,
suddenly
dude.
getting.
You know what this means?
What?
Kraken's funny Left 4 Dead videos are gone.
Oh. Oh no. It's like, well, that's the other thing about it. It's just, if you didn't people aren't getting their videos to put on their channels. And this is going back to when they used to, again, going way, 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 way back. We're talking the early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
Of that nature.
Like,
And it was
mid-2000s. Mid-2000s.
Okay, mid 2000s roughly. And during this time, it was common practice for Machinima to ask people to make videos for them to host on their what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh geez, it's in the back of my head. Create videos for them to host on their Machinima platform. And what would happen from there is that, it would be more exposure for them, and people would get their money back. They would be paid for the videos they put out. But now that this buyout happened, a lot of people have lost those videos because part of the contract was they couldn't put those videos on their channels.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically they sold the right, in quotations, to Machinima. And this has led to people losing, like I said, 10 plus years worth of content and videos and all that kind of stuff. And people are worried about this. We're talking about impacted livelihoods of that nature. God damn it. Impacted livelihoods of that nature, just things of that nature. And it's kind of led people to get very worried very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are some people out there who are, there are people who don't see this as too much of an issue, that the things will get better. Personally, I'm amongst that, but it is strange to see Machinima. How it's become now. They've actually begun firing and removing other content creators who, for the better part of several decades, or a decade, I suppose, have been providing them nothing but stellar content. Maximilian Dude, for example, was let go of Machinima due to, probably due to this buyout. That said, I don't think he's in danger of, I personally don't think he's in danger of, what's the word? I don't think he's in danger of, like, losing a lot of money or losing livelihood. The case. I think it's going to get impacted quite a bit, but the guy's talented enough and he's got a large enough following, I suppose, that if he was to go independent, make his own videos, make his own things, I don't think he would be too much in trouble, Like, he can easily make back whatever money he loses over time, I suppose would be the better way of putting it. But then, of course, you've got other people like that infamous fat fuck. What's his name? Oh, god damn it. I forgot this one guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I know that he's, like, infamous for being hated. And, oh god. I'm trying to remember it, honestly. He was the guy who got fired from, actually, one of the first people, I believe, the only person I think now, they actually Shinema, because he was pestering them and going around their partner services, and he's the guy who was infamously saying, "You either treat me like this, like I'm the top dog or whatever, or I walk." And they basically said, "Well, see ya," and fired him. Basically, I'm trying to remember his name.
Eh.
God, it's kind of bothering me now. I know that I know that he's making a big to-do about being on the internet for like 10 years or some stupid shit like that. You know, a real big nothing burger, if you will.
Yeah, we got you. We got it.
That's gonna bother me now. That's gonna bother me now for the rest of the night. I'm gonna be done here, and I'm gonna be like, shit. You know?
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, I guess he's not important to begin with, so no, nothing lost, I guess. But yeah, basically, people are kind of worried, and again, I don't know how to feel about this whole machinima situation. I really don't.
The thing with machinima, like if you're a starting out YouTuber, it's great to join them because they'll get your content up, they'll get you views, and it'll really help out your channel. But like once you get going, it's really difficult to leave.
Yeah, like I've heard horror stories of people trying to renegotiate contracts and just not being able to leave the shadow machinima.
Cool dude, aka Breezy. They actually like, I think it's only been 2, maybe 3 years, but they finally got off their contract with machinima by then.
Yeah, it's this sort of like machinima basically knows that they can't, you know, they don't produce anything themselves. They're wholly dependent on people providing the content for them, and without those that people who will help them effectively, it's nothing. It just becomes a channel that exists and rehosts content effectively, and you know, it's kind of led people to, you know, most people are usually like just better off doing things on their own, at least from the point of view of like, oh, YouTube's a saturated market, yada yada. Probably do this on my own, but you know, maybe it won't work as intended effectively.
Yeah,
and I can see where, you know, where the appeal of joining Machinima would step in. I can see where this whole thing kind of goes. But the problem also becomes of just, are they necessary at this point? You know, is Machinima still a profitable venture for you to hitch your wagon to, or is it just like with game publishers, an outdated service?
I think the concept of what machinima does is still very useful, just like the methods are outdated. Like, because again, the horror
Okay.
stories about leaving them. Trying to figure something out here. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm still doing the D&D thing with Koozie in the background.
Fair enough.
He just pin-cushioned a whole bunch of goblins and turned a hobgoblin into paste with one shot of his gun.
Jesus.
It's amazing, but like what's funny is that he's freaking out and screaming because his team just can't fucking hit. Oh, these goblins are just gonna take one day to kill. What's happening now, huh? Anyway,
yeah.
Again, like the horror stories with Machinima, like they're supposed to be helping your channel grow, to get views to your channel.
Right.
For the most part, they don't make money off of you. They shouldn't be. They make money off of the people who see it and who support Machinima for doing this for them. But otherwise,
right.
Contracting somebody who actually can't get this going on their own straight away is a terrible idea. I think like if we had like more groups that had the concept of machinima, you know, support smaller channels, get them out there, get them views, help them out, because YouTube as a whole is based on community. You know, it's based on groups, on just being one big community. You can't force this. You can't tunnel it. You can't tunnel vision, something like that. I am losing my words here today. I haven't had anything to eat yet.
It's alright, it's alright. I get what you're saying. Machinima is basically, it's a holdover from, I guess you could say, an earlier generation of YouTube where gaming was on the rise, but the market for like Let's Plays or
Walkthroughs,
shows based off video games, just things of that nature were just starting off. And so Machinima was the best place to go and join when it came to things like creating things based off of video games. You know, like the whole Arby and the Chief.
That one was
series.
my favorite.
So there was that. You know, Machinima, as the term comes, Machinima created shows and movies. Was another one, hence where their name kind of came from. But then over time, people just started, you know, to branch out. They started creating their own things. You had companies start up, like, you know, to use Rooster Teeth, for
is a
example,
great example.
Yeah, they started off on Machinima and then broke off after a while and now make their own thing, effectively. And that's what I think has happened. Machinima, I don't want to say squandering in obscurity. That's not what I want to say. It's more along the lines of they exist, but they're no longer the be all end all of YouTube video game content. It's more like, again, it's like keeping that old video game console you used to play as a kid. You don't use it anymore, but you do keep it.
Yeah.
Because you still, you know, you still have what's the word? You still have fond memories of that console. You just don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
they're essentially from an era that they were important, but not anymore.
Exactly. And like I said, they were like I said before, they brought in I guess you could say they are the ones that brought in the era of how YouTube is now. You know, the Let's Players and video game movies, things of that nature. They brought it in and they started it. But unfortunately, they also brought in a lot of individuals who, at least in my opinion, they hurt the industry more so than they help it, I think. You know, individuals who on their own would not be successful, and yet they hitched the ride to Machinima. Now, you know, they springboarded off of it effectively. Like, I'm not calling out specific people. I'm using it more like a.
Okay.
You know, you get people. How do I put it? You get people who just don't care about others and just kind of see this more as a way to make money off of doing jack and shit. You know, that's what I think Machinima has also brought in unintentionally. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a product of. It's an unintended side effect of the product, effectively. And it's sad, but it's true. Anyway, I don't see Machinima being shut down. I do see them kept. I think they will be rebranded into something new and under Outer Medias. I think it will be what's the word I'm looking for here? Under Outer Medias, I think they will be rebranded. Maybe they'll be given more stability because at the same time, we also got to remember that Machinima had I think a rather bad tendency of diversifying itself in too many directions. You know, there was never a set goal of this is what Machinima is. It was always an amalgamation of different things. You know, on top of the content creators they hosted and I mean, honestly, when you think Machinima, is there something specific that sticks out of your head when it comes to it? You know,
Danger.
aside, I mean, what is Machinima known for creating, as in video format creating thing?
Mm. You want like specifics or just in general?
No, just general. What comes to mind?
Minecraft?
Video. Okay, Minecraft.
Like a good number of Minecraft YouTubers, like he's not a Minecraft YouTuber anymore, but like Chimney Swift, Caveman Films, stuff like that. Even Sky does Minecraft. They were on Machinima.
Mm-hmm.
They're not anymore. Like they've not been on there for a long time. But, like Caveman Films actually had a video come up about it, like talking about what it was about. I didn't watch the video. But just a whole lot of Minecraft YouTubers were part of Machinima. But the only one I can think of who wasn't was Captain Sparkles. He's my favorite, by the way.
All right. But to me, Machinima was more of they are the company or the group that is famous for making video game adaptations or live action things based off of video games. That's what they what's the word? That's what they oh Jesus, in the back of my head. That's what Machinima makes me think of. They're that one company that exists that used to make live action things, and now they're just there effectively. Like the heyday is over. Machinima is no what it is. Personally, like I said, I don't believe that Machinima, will be gone forever. Like I said, this is just an instance of them putting things in private until the buyout and everything is said and done. After that, it's just business as usual. At least what I think. So we'll see where this goes. I think, or better yet, you need to see where this all heads. I think.
Yeah.
Again, I could be completely wrong, and I'm okay. All right. Yeah.
So,
Let's be move.
because
Yep,
he's
go ahead.
barbarian, is like swarmed by goblins. And like his
Oh,
first thing,
Jesus.
the first thing he did was like swing at these goblins, and it's like watching the movie Lord of the Rings where Sauron is swinging the giant mace. And you're wondering, how are these guys not just simply parting out of the way? He's so freaking slow. Yeah, he missed every single one of these fucking goblins. He's a giant.
All right, moving on. So and now from joy and interest, we now enter the rage.
But also joy.
Brace. It's like brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, which one was actually next? Let me look at the list. Oh, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Rage and joy.
Mm-hmm. So basically, as everyone knows by now, EA is evil.
EA disease.
We've known this for a while. Yes.
Infect everyone.
I've actually contemplated and have once referred to EA as the live-action corporate, because that is what they are. Note to self: make make an EA crewman model later. But so basically, a little while ago, EA has, or recently announced, with a bit of pride, I guess, that they canceled another Star Wars title. And as we know from, I believe, a while ago, EA was, a division within DICE was working to create a Uncharted-like Star Wars game. And new information came out. Basically, players would be given the option to either play as a smuggler or a bounty hunter, jumping from planet to planet in this story-driven, I guess, globe-trotting in the very literal sense adventure. And people were excited about that. People wanted to play that. The idea of you get to be Han Solo or Boba Fett was really appealing to people, and they were really looking forward to that. But the project got canceled by EA, and at the moment nobody knew why. Most people assume that it was EA being EA. Well, recently, they announced that another Star Wars title was being worked on, which was an open world version of the aforementioned Star Wars, Uncharted Star Wars. But it wound up being canceled, and as it turns out, it is for the dumbest reasons. And we've known this for a while, so it should come as no surprise. It was canceled out of pure greed. It was revealed that EA canceled the project because it would be late. It wouldn't come out soon enough. Basically, they wanted it for a 20 release date, but the developers couldn't
For a what?
meet that a 2020 release date.
Boo! Come on.
And we know why. It was specifically because Star Wars Episode 9 is coming out in 2020, next Christmas. And this is not surprising. EA, during Star Wars Battlefront 2, famously released the Battle of Crate map for Star Wars Battlefront EA2. And that map is infamous for being the most empty bullshit I think I've ever seen. Like, basically in the movie, the Battle of Crate it's an entire wall of 18 walking down towards this one massive rebel base. But in fact, let me see if I can find it. I want to find a screenshot of that just to show how quickly this was made. Let's see. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So it's supposed to be a gigantic stomping towards the base. And it's like supposed to be this desperate struggle to keep them from getting close. Except this is really what you're facing when you play this map as the rebels. I refuse to call them the resistance. Fucking meaningless. This is what you see when you fight.
What the fuck?
2 walkers and like 5 others way in the back. Now
That is downright pathetic. By the way, I've never seen the movie. Oh, we saw the butt shot open. Okay. I go back to the scene to just show it. There's this butt.
Yeah, and here we go. And this is what it's supposed to look like in the movie. Like I said, it's a massive death heading towards you. That is intimidating.
This is from here is just Rogue One, right?
No, the episode, I think, 8, aka the one that destroyed the Star Wars fandom.
Okay, because I resized the wrong image, motherfucker. I just remember one of the movies was really, really loved, and it had speeders red behind it.
Hey, hello there, Patty Wack. How you doing?
Hello, welcome to the podcast.
No, that was Crate, and everyone loved it. Sorry, not Crate. That was Rogue One. Everyone was actually. It was, what is it? It's Star Wars meets World War II kind of fighting, and people loved it because there was no fucking Jedi bullshit like that.
So to put for me to understand this, the Star Wars episode that first introduced Bitch Ren and Rogue One are the only good ones of the new era.
Oh no, Rogue One's the only good one.
Okay.
Episode 7, which introduces Kylo Ren,
Bitch,
is a soft reboot of A New Hope. It's literally 1-to-1 A New Hope. And people have actually come to realize, oh shit, we've been tricked.
Yeah.
But no, but basic, how do I put it? The battle of, the Rogue One fights is like, you know that scene from Saving Private Ryan?
which one?
Yeah, D-Day.
Oh, the legendary one that's also in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, basically that was that, but in Star Wars format.
Thank you, Paddywhack.
Reboot the New Hope with Symphony. You know they're gonna. You know they want, but they won't.
Ugh.
But yeah, but no. Basically, it was that scene from Saving Private Ryan, but with Star Wars lasers.
Pew, 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 pew.
It was quite. I actually loved it because a lot of the main characters bit the dust in a realistic way. Like the plot armor has run out, and they just start down. But I'm not saying like brutally suddenly they get gunned down. No, I mean like heroic final stands kind of things, which actually made me feel horrible. I was like, no, I like them. Why must you make me suffer? It was also they even gave an emotion to the droid, who was also played by the pilot
Yeah.
for yeah.
That guy is famous for like being a bodysuit actor for robot characters or CGI, like Sunny from iRobot.
He is like I said that he stole the show. Like he really brought his A game, and everyone loves him.
I went to Star Wars trivia. My mom and my brother. I regret it heavily. I regret it so much. I hated it. And there's a part of the trivia where they play audio from the movie, but they don't show the movie. And you have to guess which episode and which scene that is from. And one of the scenes they show was the mere moments before. I don't know if I want to spoil, but mere moments before he dies.
Oh yeah, that like I said, it was so like punch you in the gut kind of thing. Like why?
My favorite part of the trivia though was guess the character, and like they would show a clip from the movie, but they would put a cutout of Chewbacca over the character. And at one point, it's Star Wars where they're in the forest with all those Ewoks, and the walker walks up to the bunker. It pops open. A cutout of Chewie pops out of the walker. And it's supposed to be Chewie. No, it's supposed to be Chewie. And I think at one moment, they showed the Pogs, and they had a tiny cutout of Chewie over one of those little things. Porgs.
Ugh. Porg. I've actually grown to hate porgs. Just like I said, I could get into every evil thing the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi does, but I'd rather not. But anyway, the other so basically, like, getting back, this game was supposed to be EA's big cash grab. This is where the abuse of the fans finally comes to a sort of end, basically. But instead of that, they got extremely greedy, and they canceled the Star Wars game because it wouldn't have a. They wanted it to have a 2020 20 release date, and it just wouldn't happen. And again, this is specifically to what's the word? To cash in on the next Star Wars movie. This is what they've done from beginning to end. And instead, they did this and they canceled it. I want to point something out real quick. EA has been costing Disney money. They have not been returning the investment Disney has been putting in. In fact, someone did a side-by-side comparison. A side-by-side comparison.
Oh.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. A side-by-side comparison of EA's versus LucasArts release. Oh, here it is. In a 4-year span. And I think we can put this up. Just to put hammer the point home. Sorry, 6-year period. That's not an exaggeration either.
I actually recognize all these titles, and I know that a good number of them my dad owns. Also, I
So,
recognize the guy from like Star Wars Jedi Knights 2. I recognize that face. I think. Like I recognize it, I
yes.
think.
So,
there
right. So basically, go ahead.
there was like my dad finds these really weird videos on the internet. I'm not talking about porn. But he finds these really weird videos on the internet that you can't tell if they're made as a test from like college students or if they're actually real or some shit. And he found one where the emperor had a apprentice that looked like the guy with that face or close to it, and
I know who you're talking about.
he had him fight somebody. He won, but he still gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where my dad found it. It was weird.
I think it's the Force Unleashed too.
Eh.
Yeah, but anyways, as everyone can see here, under LucasArts and collaborations with other people and other companies, they have released 16 games from 2002 to 2008. EA has only released 2 games that are a direct sequel to one another. The Battlefront 1 and the Battlefront 2. The bad ones, I should say.
My dad has those ones. Has the first one.
And it's insulting. First off, Battlefront, the first one was just kind of meh. No one was too excited about it. People wanted what's the word? They wanted a people wanted more from the Battlefront game because there was so much around it. But unfortunately for Battlefront 2, let us never forget, it was Battlefront 2 that caused this entire loot box thing to just spiral out. And has basically single-handedly destroyed the loot box economy. To the point where, once again, EA and other keep these gambling mechanics in their games. And still going on, by the way. But that wasn't just the worst of it. As of right now, the Star Wars EA Battlefront 2 has has released or has been trying to keep fans entertained. And this shows how little EA cared about the Star Wars IP and the fans. Because when they released it the first time, there was a lot of content missing, there was a lot of shit that just wasn't in the game. But now that that Disney is putting the squeeze on EA and this gigantic backlash occurred, they are desperately throwing out character after character after character to keep people entertained and keep them playing, because they can't just kill this project. First off, they can't make money off of fans by gambling. They've had to take that out due to legal requirements. So there's that. Second, they realize that the only way they'll keep fans around and keep their support going is if they keep treating the fans to more and more content. And this has led to them releasing more and more stuff, but stuff in not even a trickle. It's more like it's more like one character every 5 months and maybe a new game mode. And they're hoping that that is enough to keep the people playing and the fans happy, and it really isn't. They are resorting to whoring out old characters from different eras to try and keep people entertained, and nobody can. And they, like I said, EA knows they're dying.
Yep.
And they're in a panic. And it comes to the what's happening now with EA canceling this project. Their money desires has basically brought Disney into rage. The fans, Disney themselves, everyone, they are sick and tired of EA's money schemes. And as of right now, at least according to some rumors I've heard as of late, Disney is looking into canceling their contract with EA. There's actual talks that Bob Iger, aka aka King Disney, is looking into their contracts, and it isn't just him. People from the industry, people, influential collaborators, everything, they're telling Disney cancel the Star Wars license agreement with EA and just um, what's the word? And just go back to creating a new Lucas. Just build your own in-game studio, and you will be swimming in cash again. But of course, they're not going to listen to Disney. They think they know everything in the universe. We are talking about the company that has allowed such figureheads to abuse the Star Wars fandom. And we'll get into that more in a second. But yeah, people want EA to fail. And given with what's happening as of late, this company is not lasting. I know I've said that every time we talk parent, EA is dying. And this is, again, the last desperate cries of a bleeding animal, trying desperately to cling on to life while, the scavengers are slowly starting to encroach its corpse. Would it not be ironic that the moment EA collapses in on itself, other companies just step in and take everything they used to have? Would that not be funny? And fitting, I think. Again, a bit of salt, a bit of rage whenever we talk.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go on a quick break?
Yeah, I am very hungry.
All right, so we'll take a quick break, quick 15, get things sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you all in about a few minutes.
Yeah.
See you then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, as he said, we're gonna take a quick break, guys. I have not eaten all day, and I've been awake since 5 a.m. I am very hungry and very tired. So I'm going to be playing the intro music on repeat. If you don't like that, that's fine. Just mute the tab and walk away. We'll be back as soon as we can. Oh, I really need something to eat. So we'll be right back. Okay, just gonna have that stop. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Stop right there. I am back. I have food. I'm eating. So yeah, Star Wars. Woohoo. You know what's funny? Yesterday, the prequels were on. The God, the acting was so bad. Well, hey, welcome back.
All right, and I am back. As are we all.
I find it very
All right.
amusing that we're talking about Star Wars on Thursday when the prequels are playing all day Wednesday.
Jesus.
Like they went
That's funny.
they went through like all the prequels and it finally ended at 7 o'clock.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Those movies are
No
long.
joke. No joke. I tried to watch all like 6 movies in one sitting, but I just fell asleep.
Yeah, you
I
just
was
can't
just
do that,
so
huh?
done. No. You need like an hour of sleep in between. But speaking of Star Wars, let's jump right into our next bit.
Yeah.
And that is the quote unquote official end of the Star Wars fan war with Disney. I say quote unquote and technically speaking, it's still going on, or some people are still saying it's going on. So, for the greater part of, I want to say, how long has it been? 4 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but for the greater part of a few years, I guess, just to be safe, a few years, Disney has been, hiring creators and other individuals who have been actively attacking the fan base. And people are, they have been attacking the fans, they've been belittling the fans, just using everything in their or saying everything in their power to make people basically dislike the what's the word? To dislike Star Wars as a whole. And it's kind of funny. So it started off innocently enough. People went to watch The Force Awakens, the 7th movie in Star Wars, and for a while people were all right with it. But then, by the time The Force Awakens started to come out, or sorry, The Last Jedi started to come out, around this time, the head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, basically began treating the fans extremely poorly. She began to put in her own agenda into Star Wars, bringing in real life politics to a galaxy far, far away. Nobody wanted that, but she didn't care. She flat out began to call fans and everyone entitled, and just in general disrespecting everyone. Ironically, disrespecting the people that she needs to depend on for money. Kind of funny, isn't it? And so, it began the I guess, the Star Wars fan war between Disney and and the fans. The fans were just sick of it. Like I said, Star Wars has one of the biggest fandoms out there, and to enrage the fandom is to like enrage half the world to fight against you.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney thinks they're so great, that they're so mighty, so big, that they can ignore it. And so the fans began to, they called out directors when they did. When when The Last Jedi finally came out, Rian Johnson, aka, no joke, like his head is
We
perfectly
didn't get that.
smooth.
What?
I said no
No,
joke.
no,
His
no, no.
head.
Who are you talking about? We didn't get that.
Roundhead Rian Johnson. That's the thing. Someone, I believe it was comic artist Pro Secrets, took one of those. What are those? Duplo characters. The ones with like no body and just a circle for a head. Like those baby Lego things.
Oh, I don't remember what they're called.
But okay, so that effectively, and what wound up happening is that he took that and then he lined it up with a still of Rian Johnson's head, and the entire top of his head matched perfectly with that round circle. And so people began to start calling him Round-Headed Johnson or Roundhead Rian Johnson. And it just stuck. It stuck. And of course, he got pissed with the fans, and he just started to go into attack after attack of the fans. In fact, let me see if I can find some of his tweets, just to put it out there. Let me see. John, how do you say? John, son, Rian Johnson. Let's see what little secrets you have in the closet again, round fuck. Let's see. Jesus. The guy flat out refuses to admit that his movie was a colossal flop.
Boo.
And so he tweets out just retarded things in an attempt to make himself sound better. So let me see if I can read out one of these tweets so small. I know he's a tiny man, but still. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So from Rian Johnson, 4 hours ago, no date, says the following. For me, The Last Jedi 100% distills what the spirit and heart of Star Wars has been in my life. But yes, it is personal, and it's a certain point of view, and it has to be. Originals were personal for George Lucas. That's why they're alive. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that. And oh, here we go. Let me see. And someone replied, and become soulless, clean, homogeneous, but being alive means being messy, and it means every film won't line up exactly with what every fan is expecting or wants. I'm sorry, The Last Jedi up with your own certain point of view. Really, honestly, I am blah blah blah. Again, this guy believes he created the next amazing movie, and truth be told, he didn't. He's the man who single-handedly destroyed Star Wars. And that is, again, guess what? You get to live in infamy as the man who destroyed Star Wars. That is what you live as to the day you die. You and your fucking round head. You and your fucking round head and
oh
stupid
my
smile.
God! It's perfectly round!
You see? I'm not making this up. It's freaky, isn't it? Like, the fuck?
You know what would make this all the better?
What?
If he was like the kind of person that has those really like out there ears, it would make this so much better.
Oh, God. Damn it, this fucking head.
Oh, by the way,
Like, I don't... Go ahead.
I believe they're called Imaginex or Mega Blocks.
Okay.
You were asking like that toy that has the perfectly round heads.
Oh. Either or, but... Oh, it's so funny. Like, I don't like making fun of someone's appearance, but this fucker really does have a round head.
Nope, not Mega Blocks.
It's so fucking odd. Like, how? How do you get the genetics for a perfectly round head? Oh, Jesus. But anyway, moving away from making fun of the poor man's deficiencies, he's gone on a tirade of attacking the fans and everything. And people just, yeah, as you can expect, when you go to do your favorite hobby, like with me, and like my model kits, for example, I don't want to go to um, a hobby shop and then buy a model kit like a Zaku or something, and then have some guy screaming at my face saying I'm a horrible person because I didn't buy a Federation, but I'm horrible, I'm sexist, I'm blah 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 blah. That's what people don't want to do when they're trying to relax after a hard day of working.
Mm-hmm.
But it's quite annoying. So it wasn't just Ryan Johnson who. Ryan Johnson was the spark that led. Oh, actually, there is one infamous tweet he sent out to everyone who was angry with the movie, specifically because of the fact that he took Snoke, a character that was being built up from the previous movie, and killed him off with no development, no nothing, basically. And this is the infamous tweet that set the world on fire and against him.
I should probably be putting his
Yep.
pictures in the stream so people know to avoid this man.
Please put up the Snoke's theory sucks one.
Yeah, will do.
Just put that one up specifically because fuck this guy.
Go back.
So you got you got this guy who is attacking the fans. Now you would think a normal functioning company would step in and say, we got to fire this guy. He's killing our our profit margins. But no, Disney is run by an idiot, and so who believes that the universe around her is worth, run by an idiot whose point of view is that men suck, ergo let's make Star Wars for girls, even though Star Wars is for everyone, with amazing characters and amazing, events. But whatever. Apparently she knows best. So this happens. And people are angry with Ryan Johnson. People are angry with everyone in LucasArts or Lucasfilms because they're just treating people like crap. They're calling people this, and this because they're not buying things and etc. 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 And not only that, but it gets worse. People are getting they stopped buying toys. People weren't interested in buying The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens action figures. And another channel, actually, World Class Bullshitters, yes, that is their name, have done multiple videos where the host of the show or the host of the channel actually goes into actually goes into stores, like kid stores and everything, and he films what he sees, and the stores are flooded with just Star Wars crap, things that just don't sell anymore. No one's buying the new stuff. People are buying like Luke's, Leia's, yada yada, things from like the Clone Wars and all that stuff. But no one's buying anything new from the new movies. And this has affected Disney's bottom line and everything. And so we come to the point where the fans, basically, who have the power, boycotted Solo, myself included. We didn't go see the movie, and Solo flopped as a result. And it's actually gone down in history as the only Star Wars movie to ever lose money at the box office.
Wow.
That is shocking. Yeah, that's shocking. Solo flops, and this sends the message to Bob Iger and the rest of Disney, and they come to a horrifying realization. They're losing money with Star Wars. They're losing the fans. And what should have been something that basically prints money for them is now
burning it.
Like I said, exactly, and they're panicking. So Bob Iger recently came out following this. Well, not recently, but came out in the wake of Solo and said that moving forward, they're slowing the Star Wars stuff. Movies, things of that nature, everything. They're bringing it to a slow. He doesn't only admit the fans are, they're winning the war, but he basically acknowledges that, he disguises it under Star Wars fatigue, quote unquote. So where does this go from here? Well, it turns out that Rian Johnson was promised, again in quotes, his own Star Wars trilogy. Yes, you heard it right. His own trilogy of movies. Why? According to sources, Rian Johnson entered a boardroom meeting one day and gave his pitch of, okay, here's my idea for a Star Wars trilogy. New locations, new characters, new galaxy. And that was it. No, I want to make a story about this person, nothing of that nature. Just, here's what I have. What do you think? You know what I would have done if I was in that boardroom, hearing all this? You know what I would have said?
What?
Get the fuck out. You have no idea what you're doing. Don't ever talk to me again. Yeah. In those exact words. But no, Kathleen Kennedy gets Rian Johnson his trilogy. And so people were just... But that's the thing. He supposedly gets a trilogy, but there's no information about it. Rian keeps tweeting out, oh, I'm getting one, I'm getting one, trying to soothe the fans, or aka shut up the haters, but nothing. And then we finally reach the boiling point, the quarterly earnings, or as people have been calling it, what Disney lost in about 4 years. They have lost a huge chunk of money. Like, we're talking more than half on Star Wars. To the point where Bob Iger and everyone knows it now. Everyone sees it. The money is, they're losing money. Star Wars is losing money. The impossible has happened. And so, following all this information, the following has been revealed. Kathleen Kennedy has not been fired, but she has been promoted out of her position, which is basically as good as getting fired. She's basically now put into a small cupboard somewhere where she can't do anything to destroy Star Wars. There are already talks of new directors, new people, just things are on the up and up. And Rian Johnson's trilogy is all but dead in the water. It's never going to happen. And Rian Johnson, as outside of that, I'm willing to bet you any amount of money that the fans will come after him late in the night and beat him to death with lightsabers. And no one will, like I said, they'll even, I guarantee you, they'll court orders for him never to touch another Star Wars movie ever again. That would be funny. You are not authorized to touch this property. But yeah, officially, we have won the war. The fans have spoken. We've made our voices heard with our wallets, with our, internet, with our internet presences, everything. And we basically said enough is enough. And now Disney has been creating new new things as of late that treat the fans with respect. And one of them is the aforementioned Mandalorian series coming to the streaming service, along with a prequel series of uh, a prequel TV show about one of the characters from Rogue One, Cassian Andor.
Interesting.
So Disney's listening. Yeah, Disney's listening. They know that the fans don't give a shit about Mary Sue Ray or Rose, I'm just wearing a trash bag Tico. None of it. Nobody cares about these new characters. And if Disney wants to make money, they need to create characters that people actually give a shit about.
I mean,
and respect the
fans liked Bodega's character.
Bodega. Oh, you mean Finn?
Yeah, they all love Finn.
Oh no, people have turned on Finn.
Oh no.
Finn has not because they hate the character, but because the actor has been a dipshit and is attacking the fans as well.
Oh no.
Idiot. Basically, he sent out a tweet when the when the when the boycotts were happening. He basically sent out a tweet that's basically like that basically read as, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't give a shit. So come and do your worst." And the fans basically said, "Okay." Boom. Star Wars no longer has any, solo bombs at the box office. Again, John Boyega
close to being the soldier boy there.
Exactly. And as you can imagine, you would expect, the smart move would be, okay, like John Boyega should send out a tweet that says, "Okay, I was wrong, never mind," or something to the effect of apologize, but not really apologize. You know what I mean? Like, acknowledge the fact that you fucked up, but at the same time try to pass it off like you're learning or some bullshit like that, Try to be humble in your humiliation. Humble in your humility. Yeah, you know what? I'm making that a t-shirt now. It's gonna be a t-shirt. But anyway, as you can imagine, John Boyega fucked up. But people still like Finn. They like the potential Finn had. But that's been squandered too. And to make matters even worse, like I said, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the new characters, and Disney knows this. They're falling back on the original trilogy like crazy. There is no information about the sequel trilogy anymore. Everything's been hush-hush around Episode 9, the supposed end of the Star Wars, of the Skywalker legacy, quote unquote. In reality, it's the end of the horrible Mary Sue tales, as it is. At least what I'm calling it. And that's it. Disney knows they fucked up, and now they're going back to what people enjoyed the most, which is Rogue One's characters and new characters outside of the what's the word? And new characters outside of. Oh, it's on the back of my head. What was I going to say? And new characters outside of the Force Awakens. Like individuals who can really bring things forward, like the Mandalorian and other things of that nature. So the question becomes, like, where is Disney going to survive is Star Wars truly going to survive much longer under this kind of conditions, or has it been saved? Can it be saved? Personally, I think, like I said, people don't want to say we've won the war. People still believe that it's ongoing, and that if we acknowledge the war's over, people are worried that, it will be complacent, and then Disney will resume to do the things they did before, and with everyone just kind of halted. I see where they're going with this. I do. However, okay, wait. Before we continue, I have to show this. Okay. You know your property is dying when you have to resort to doing this.
By the way, I found the most terrifying image ever. Oh no!
You see my point?
Want to see something spooky?
Sure. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
You have no idea how fitting that is either, given those little psychopaths.
Yeah.
It's like, again, to put up some to say something real quick. Normally, I do not, claim or produce or say things to encourage genocide or anything like that. However, I will say this: fuck the Ewoks. We should murder them all. I say we drop asteroids on the planet and make it go make everything there go extinct. I don't care if it's a ecological disaster. Fuck it. Are the bears dead? Yes, then I'm good. Nothing of value was lost. Just so angry. But yeah, that's why people are hesitant to say the war's over. That's why some people like Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers, and many others do not want us to say the war's over. Many of them don't want the war to be over because in their eyes a victory hasn't been achieved. And I see their point, why he's saying that, and I can't help but agree. I don't think the war is over either. It's far from it. This has been a minor victory on the roadmap going forward. If we want to like I said, the war is far from over. We need to keep going. We need to keep fighting and make sure that that we can actually come out and say we've won officially. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to enter a gigantic speech like last time. That is not happening. I'm not going to pull a gear in and stand in front of a stage demanding people give up on their strength. I'm not doing that again. All right. So I guess we can move on. Let's see, we've got 4 more things left. Woot. Moving on to our next topic, and that is Steven Universe.
Yeah. It's weird to come back to this.
It is. So, as most people have probably heard by now, the Steven Universe series has come to an end, officially. And, well, again, people are kind of like reacting. Some people are like, wow, others are like, this was the best ending ever, yada, the stereotypical people are super happy about it because they enjoyed the series, yada, yada. Now, I've said this once, and I'll say this 100 times before. I used to be a big fan of, of the series. I used to enjoy it. I found it entertaining, etc., etc. But after really analyzing the show, after really looking into it, and after really, just going in and checking things out for myself, and looking at it through a critical lens and no longer what's the word? And no longer like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not blinded by my enjoyment of it, but I am looking at it more clearly now. And I can safely say the show wasn't really that good. Cue the angry fans here. Cue the mass onslaught of rage. Excuse me, while I hide from them in my secure bunker. But no, basically, I've sat down and I've taken a look at it. And I can safely say that Blah. Why can't I talk tonight? What is wrong with me? My fucking vent is fucked up. But basically, I sat down, I looked at the series, and I came to realize we had nothing going on. And by that I mean, effectively, nothing happened in the show. Nothing important occurred. There were no stakes. There was no issues. Nothing of that happened. And you can notice it already. Let me bring this up. Let me go as to the following. When the series first started, it was weird. Like, let's not mix words here. It was very weird. You know it, I know it, the universe fucking knew it. And it was more akin to... It was kind of Power Rangers-like, wasn't it? At the beginning.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, Steven and Gems fight random monster of the week. Steven learns new... what's the word? New life lesson, reset to 0 on the next episode. That's basically what Steven Universe was. A very stylized monster of the week kind of show. But then there was a strange shift. And without warning, the show takes on a more serious desire and tone, effectively. Shifting away from goofy, silly drama to more serious, attempted world building kind of shit. And that's when this shift seems weird to me. Have you noticed, throughout the entire series, there's no greater evil that sticks into the show. There is no, like, evil emperor, whatever, or an invasion, or nothing of that nature. And it just kind of peters on, it meanders. Nothing changes. Nothing occurs. And not in the good way either. I know I just talked in a circle, but bear with me for a second. What am I trying to say here? Like, give me a moment, hold on. The show shifts in later series, or later seasons, and attempts to be something different in the attempt, or I guess in the hope of it being interesting or entertaining. And yet, whenever there's an antagonist introduced into the series, or quote unquote stakes are brought in, they're just brushed away. You know, that after one fight or something of that effect, the bad guy is beaten and is turned into a good guy. For example, you know, to use a quick one, Lapis Lazuli. At first, you think, you know, she's going to be evil because of what happened during the whole Earth War. She comes back with Jasper and Peridot, and you think she's going to be evil, but instead she decides to turn, and then, you know, fuses with Jasper and drags her under the sea. And you're kind of like, okay. Then you have Peridot, who in the beginning is kind of like this... I call it the shockwave effect. Not an actual shockwave, I mean the Transformer shockwave. Where she's clinical, she's cold, she's more science-driven, she doesn't give a shit about anything or anyone. She conducts experiments that are atrocious even to her own kind, you know, the whole force gem fusion thing. She just doesn't care, she's very evil. But then as it progresses, as she's stranded on Earth, her more serious, more evil nature is being circumvented with comedy, with her being silly. And that's what I kind of noticed. And I don't think this was an intentional thing. And by that I mean, I don't think she was meant to be taken lightheartedly. Like, you know, I don't think she was intended to be viewed as someone who could be redeemed. I think it was a mistake on the animators, or story team, animator, whatever you want to call it. Because, how do I put it? It's like any other, like, children's cartoon villain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You see them and you don't take them seriously. You just take them as a joke. And they come off more as that one friend who acts out because they don't know how to express their feelings. That's how it comes off as. And that's exactly what Peridot kind of became. She stopped being this horrible clinical monster and just became a silly midget. And yes, I am using midget in the correct term. If anyone wants to fight me, come on, bring it. No. But, well, actually, if anyone has a problem with that, please send your hate to P.O. Box www.idon'tgiveafuck.com.
Do you know, you're talking about, like, there were people that were more than happy to drill a hole into their phone just to get their headphone jack back. You really think they're not going to try that?
I'm pretty sure they will. I'm so tempted to make that a thing now. But anyway. But that's my point. Now, I want to point something out. Peridot is fucked up. We're talking about an individual who conducted fusion experiments. And we're brushing that under the rug. We're not going to punish her for or anything of that nature. We're just going to give her a hug, say she did right, and give her a cookie. And forgive what she did. I'm sorry, but no. Really, no. Even Garnet, who has a mental breakdown because of what she sees, is fine with Peridot being around and everything. You would think the willing fusion would have a big issue about this, but no, she's like, nah, I forgive the little green troll for what she's done. Just no, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Lapis, who later on in the series just becomes this super antisocial bitch, for lack of a better term. And like I said, this makes sense. We're talking about an individual who gets trapped in a mirror and is being surrounded by people she dislikes.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to be a bit like, I don't want to deal with anything about this.
So far,
that's the only one
like, Lapis was the only character that actually treated Peridot like the fans should be treating her. Or like the character should be treating her. With disdain.
Exactly. With distrust and disdain. And even though Peridot wants to make amends, Lapis is still in the right to treat her with a cold ire. And just kind of stay away from her. And the most technical scale. And even when she is encountered with Jasper a few times, she does react in the proper way. She does treat her like an enemy, as everyone should. And even then, I think Jasper's the only gem in this entire series who continues to be an antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't one that they hug away to become a better person. And honestly, she's the only one I can honestly say is a better developed character. Because you see her motivations. She's a soldier. That's her job. To her, the war's still going on. She has a personal stake in all this. And eventually, it just kind of, it eventually just kind of boils over to her just saying, I'm not forgiving you. Someone I cared about died. And as far as everyone knew at the time, that was right. And this is where the show kind of brings in its moral issues. This whole aspect of, the supposed good general, I suppose, Rose at the time, basically murdered someone for the sake of a rebellion. And so you kind of wonders like who it brings in the moral gray ambiguity to it. Like, did what Rose did, was it correct? There's two sides to every story, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like the show did right. It brought in this sort of moral gray area and could have had a very good sort of good versus evil. Did Rose do what she did because she felt it was right? Was it wrong? And that kind of thing. That's what the show could have done. But then as the series progresses, another thing I've noticed is that Steven doesn't grow as a character. He doesn't really change that much. I mean, let's go down, it for a moment. What does he do? Like, how does he help in any fight?
Mostly he gets thrown around.
Exactly. He has no formal training. He is a defensive individual, but lacks the basic understanding of how to be a defensive fighter. It's all impact. It's all reflex. There is no, if I do this, I'll be able to do that, yada, yada, yada. And the show could have done something. They could have made Steven, I'm not going to say the tank of the group, no. I'm saying more, they could have made him, what's the word I'm looking for here? They could have made him the defender of the group, someone who's off in the sides, providing support if possible. That's what the show could have done. Play off between him and Connie. She's the one who likes to fight. He's the one who likes to defend. Actually have them play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses in that sense. And the only time I think they've ever done that was when they were training with Pearl. But then after that, it just, there's no more of it. They're just standing there, doing jack and shit, effectively, outside of fusing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what irks me. No one in this show really grows or changes as a character. Yeah, you get one moment where they're kind of, maybe every once in a while you get a characters actually have an interaction and or genuinely what's the word, and they're genuinely changed. They have a moment where they have to do something horrible or some sort of internal problem, but that lasts all for one episode, maybe two, and then that's it. There's no more of it. And like I said, this isn't good character development. It really isn't. They just stay stagnant. Now, let me put prefaces. Stagnant characters can be good for a story. There's nothing in writing 101 effectively that says you can't. Every character has to be dynamic or so on and so forth. A lot of stories work with static or flat characters. It really does. But when the characters are presented with a change and they don't change after the initial, I guess, discomfort, that's when they stop being interesting. That's when they become poor characters. And that's what I feel most of Steven Universe's characters are. They are very bland, very static, and they don't do much. And that's not to say anything about the series, how the series plots itself either. You know that whole bit with the cluster, right?
Yep.
I would like to point out that it's not been resolved whatsoever. The cluster still exists. It's just now a force for good for some weird reason. It's like a gigantic glob in the center of the earth sprout, and it's constantly in pain. And yet yet a psychic goes down there, talks to it, and convinces it that it's happier this way. And it's just convinced, yeah, I'm happier this way. I'm happier constantly writhing in pain and never being able to transform into something else. This whole time. And I'd like to point out, this isn't the first time that a monster in the center of the earth has been in a kid's show. Transformers Prime, for example, had Unicron as actually Earth. The whole planet is him, basically. And the way they stop him from coming back is they knock him out. And they even acknowledge this is a temporary solution at best. It probably will be another trillion or billions of years before he wakes up again. And the show immediately addresses him again, returning, and this time they trap his soul in a container and they stop him from ever returning. That's good, not character writing. That's a good way to diffuse such a threat. But the cluster isn't diffused. The cluster is dealt with. It still exists. And even when it comes back in, what was it? The fourth season, I think, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But even when it does come back, it's just one arm that forms, fights another arm, goes back underground, and that's it.
The part that everybody loves with that one is that they actually made an Attack on Titan joke with Ronaldo. I hate Ronaldo, by the way.
No, they actually, someone, I believe it was Easy Peasy or someone else on YouTube. I can't remember their name right now. Again, sorry if you're on the off chance you're listening to this, sorry. But basically, they point out that Ronaldo is created specifically to mock the fans who don't like the show, the fans who point out the flaws with the gems, with how they treat people, how they act, etc., etc. Because let's face it, the gems aren't good people to begin with. And by that I mean, how do I put it? By that I mean, let's point to the obvious one we both, Pearl.
I
She is a bitch. For example, when she knocks out the entire city's power in an attempt to do something, like I even forget what she was trying. It was like create a generator thing. I don't know. when she creates an EMP that knocks out the power for the entire city, and people are genuinely concerned about this because it affects everyone's lives, businesses need power and shit of that nature. Instead of acknowledging their fears and trying to soothe their worries about what's happened, she berates them. She calls them primitive again, and then leaves them hanging.
That's the main thing why I don't like Pearl. The way she treats humans in general pisses me off.
She is a bitch.
That's also another thing. Like, I love the show. Don't get me wrong. I don't like how they continuously remind humans that they are pathetic compared to them throughout the entire show.
Exactly. And this is another problem I have with everything revolves around the gems, and rarely when the human cast is brought in, the events or the big problems with them are incredibly minor. We're talking about like, oh no, Sadie has to go to a dance and she doesn't want to, or some bullshit of that caliber. And rarely do they ever get a chance to shine on their own or actually stand up as their own individuals. No, it basically just goes to show you that the show doesn't care about the human cast and is using them as backdrops to a play. Props, effectively. And that's the thing I think the show misses. There is never a moment where the human cast has a chance to stand up and show, hey, we can actually do something. Like, imagine if the those horrible amalgamation gem monsters actually attacked the cities and people actually fought against them and kind of showed the gems, hey, we can defend ourselves too. We're not harmless. We're not helpless. But that doesn't happen. Instead, it's always something terrible happens. The gems will take care of it. And then they continue this air of superiority. They continue to treat everyone else like shit. And it drives me up a wall. It's just like my same problem with the Ostron in Warframe. Whenever something bad happens, you get to fight this great evil that's going to threaten their home, like the Boil or the Ghouls or the Grenier or anything, they call us. They ask the Tenno to do it. And then they sit around and be lazy. That's why I hate the Ostron. That's why I hate the show. At least the characters. And that's what pisses me off the most. It's after really analyzing the show, after really sitting there and looking at it and watching aspects of it, I've come to realize the show really isn't as great as I initially thought. It's worse even than I initially thought. And so we enter what what's the word? What I intended to say is that the show attempts to bring in serious plot points. It sets up events, but it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
There is no payoff. There is no big victory. Every victory is achieved by the skin of their teeth, and that is it. And it's frustrating. Even when they bring in the diamonds, you expect them to be some horrible villains, and they really should. Even Yellow basically showed she was a villain to the core. And yet the show, instead of humanizing them in a good way, decides no, the fans will like them, and we don't want to piss off the fans, the vast army of shippers. So instead, we're just going to have their ideologies changed by love and compassion. I'm sorry, what? That is just no. Again, you're setting these some great villains to fight, and you waste it. And this is another thing the show fails to understand. What it means to fight a war, what it means to have an ideology that you counteract with, and diplomacy has failed. That is what the show ultimately fails to grasp. The perfect example I would point out is Bismuth herself. When she's shown, she brings up the Shadow Point. She brings up all this crazy shit about actually destroying diamonds and fighting the enemy. And, the show, what's the word? The show oh god, points it out, not points it out. Sorry. The show establishes it as it's wrong to kill the people you disagree with. And yes, that is correct. It is very wrong to kill people you disagree with. But the problem is that we are talking about a war. We are talking about two sides that destroyed each other in a war. This is, and as far as I know, as far as the show shows, wow, redundant. As far as the show shows to the, I'm just gonna say it, fuck it. As far as the show shows to the audience, the war's still happening. Neither side's won. If anything, the Crystal Gems were defeated. And that's the problem. They should still be at war. They should still be fighting the diamonds. They should still be doing this. And the fact that Bismuth is willing to destroy her enemies, who basically turned all her friends into mindless animals, should say something. Again, I think she's in the right. She has the right mindset. Yes, she is still fighting a war. And she should be convincing Steven and the others that the war is still happening. The enemies aren't going to give us hugs and cuddles just because we're nice. But that's the problem. The show doesn't, it shies away from these adult themes. And I'm not saying adult as in it needs to be super serious. I mean serious issues.
Mm-hmm.
The show shies away from them to the point where it just treats the audience like babies, or it treats these serious events as nothing more than minor disagreements. And that's what irks me. That's what drives me up a wall. And it even comes to the point where, it makes me frustrated. It really does. I see what the show could have been. I see the potential of a very good story being told with payoffs, with people they fight and actually convince after fighting them or showing them they're wrong. But it doesn't happen. And in fact, another point I want to bring up is, the episode where Peridot admits she has no powers,
Yeah.
right? I would like to point something out. She mentions that resources back home aren't going so well, and that a lot of gems are coming out like her, smaller than they should be. That is something the show points out in painful detail. It points out that there is a very serious problem, that their expansion isn't for the sake of mindless conquest, but through necessity. That's what the show points out. And yet, at the series finale, what happens? Nothing.
They're more
This
focused on
conflict.
curing the ones that were changed.
Exactly. Instead of, well, we need to figure out a way to stop this other species extinction. How do we do it? No. It's just, oh, well, now the fighting's over. We've cured the retarded animals. But aren't we going to help the people that... No, we're done. We're fine. That's so much rage. So basically, the show admits that we're going to let these gems, die from, eventually from overbreeding. That's what's going to happen. But it's okay. We've saved our very, very dumb friends. By the way, what about the humans still in that zoo? Are we not going to go up
No,
there
they
and
actually
bring them back
explained why
home?
they're not going to do that.
It's still bullshit.
Well, compare those humans' lives to ours right now. Their lives are way better.
Yeah, but it's still fucked up if you ask me.
Oh, cool. Warframe acolytes.
Cool.
Yep.
And so let's actually get into the series finale proper then, since I've already bitched and moaned about how much this show really does drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even talking about animation errors either. But have you actually seen one of those where business actually...
What? You're roboting. What?
Sorry, am I still going?
Nope.
Am I coming in clear? Still rolling?
Yep.
For fuck's sake. Hold on, I'll be right back. Am I still going mental, or is it better? Come on.
No, you're still roboting a little.
I don't know why the connection's suddenly going to shit right now. It's like at this certain hour, I'm going to completely go completely mental because I hate you. Hold on. Hold on. Let me try it again. How about now? Am I coming in better, or is it the same?
You sound a little better.
All right. Hold on. Where was it? Okay, right. No, there's an actual animation error, and where Mrs. Pants vanish. I'm not joking. Oh, let me see if I can find it. It should be easy to find. Oh, there it is.
Oh no.
Yep, it exists, and it looks just as bad as you can imagine. And by bad, I mean awkward. And boop.
What the fuck?
Hey.
Damn.
Oh, that's awkward. Would this count as nudity on kids' TV? Would that count?
Wow.
I can't believe someone failed to acknowledge that this was a problem. I'm so I love it. And then there was the time that she went naked and fought in the war. Whoops. It's brilliant. I love it. I completely love it. Anyway. But yeah, so like I said, so let's get into the ending proper. So, what did you think?
A really nice animation.
What, towards the very end?
It's really smooth, yeah. Plus, we finally get to see what all the gems combined become. One of my favorite gemstones.
Yes, a giant burning woman with a completely, a very literal fiery temper.
Yeah.
Just, oh god, that thing creeped me out a bit slightly. Again, it's the whole I have another head on, I mean, another face on top of my face. Ugh. That's so creepy. But anyway, I found that interesting. I did like the giant obsidian woman thing. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Cool, if albeit a bit disturbing, if anything. So that was interesting. Yeah, and of course they brought in 2 new fusions because why not? It's the end of the series.
And everybody really want to know. And Rainbow Quartz is Taco. No. There's a D&D series called The Adventure Zone. And
No. I know about these Adventure Zone. And it's Fantasy Costco.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. First off, I want to say this. I do want to mention Sunstone for a moment. That thing is ripped straight out of a fucking 1980s anti-bullying PSA.
I say 1990s. Like,
80s, 90s, it's the same thing.
I looked at it and thought Capri Sun.
Oh god. I'm so sorry for you and your Capri Sun-like form. Is it just me, or does the design of it look a bit cheap? And by cheap, I mean like lame.
Yeah, kinda. What
It's
annoyed
like,
me was that every word that came out of their mouth was like telling you that you're amazing.
exactly. It's like, can you stop? I know I'm amazing to begin with. You
Also,
can
his
stop
weapon
now.
is suction cups.
It's fear me and my suction cup hands. why do you have these? Like, I actually questioned, why would you have suction cups as a weapon? Why? You know, just okay. We're not going to acknowledge it. It's just actually no. I think I know why they gave him the suction cup hands.
Hmm.
It's a reference to like TV shows when they had the characters take on a new weapon or form or whatever just to sell toys. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Also, what's with the Boston accent? What? Why?
I don't know.
It was so weird. It's like usually when these things fuse, their accent is an amalgamation between the part, and yet we have Boston out of an American accent and an English accent. How? Like, I want to know why this is a thing. Someone please explain to me how these two forms create a Boston accent. Mm. And then the other one, the Rainbow 2.0. I actually like
Taco!
that form. Yes, it's very literal taco. Actually, a lot of people are surprised by this one, specifically because people believe it's male, based on the accent, well, based on the voice patterns and everything. Kind of crazy when people when you think of it that way. I personally do not see it. I do find it
No,
odd
I
that
see
we
it.
bring this. But no, I mean, like, the whole series makes a point that every gem is female, even though they are a monogendered species, but whatever. Or, sorry, a genderless species, but whatever. And then suddenly we bring in a male at the last second. The fuck? I mean, I like the design. It's cute. It's a flaming homosexual. It really is. But, you know, I'm okay with it. I like that design. It's cute. And, of course, then we have the whole bit where can I also say this? The whole having the diamonds have a breakdown and become good was kind of like cheap as fuck. It's like we set this whole series as if, this whole series that they're so evil and yada yada yada, and then suddenly they're on our side. Because fuck the stakes. I'm not saying actually fuck stakes, I'm saying that, never mind.
Patty
It's
whack. About
so
this
odd.
humanity stuff, there was an episode in Orville where there was a phasing planet and a robot got stuck in it, on it. It was basically nowadays Earth, and during the second phase, they explained that, yeah, the teenager age of the humans there, and they got over it. We are in this teenage rage time, but we won't see the end of it. Maybe our grandchildren. So we kill ourselves as for okay. Okay.
Oh, that's fucked up. But I like it. So we've got these. For some reason, the big bad guys of the entire series become good for no reason other than Steven was just being a whiny little bastard.
That's the thing. He doesn't whine really. He goofs off for the most part.
But his argument to convince them to turn is so fucking paper thin. It's, oh, you've made her feel horrible. That's why she launched a giant war that probably killed a good chunk
He
of the
does
species. Really?
highlight abuse though. It's not really paper thin. He points them out. He calls them out on their abuse.
Yeah, I get. Oh god, my voice is going. I get that. It's just like I said. It feels rushed towards the very end. Is what it is. There is no build up. There is no thing. It's like a hand sticking out of the door when someone is trying to do something, and they have no time to respond to that. That's what it kind of feels like, where it's an instance of, just problems upon problems upon problems. Really, it's just the build up and the payoff do not seem to work at all. And that's what I've kind of come to notice, really. especially, you know, towards the very end and everything. And it's very, you know, kind of distracting too when you consider it. At least how I see it. Anything? Gotta bring it in? Like I said, it's just the series spends so much time setting up never happen. And then when they do happen, or when they are, or when stakes do occur, there's very little reward, very little payoff, very little issues involving it. There's very little in the way of like I said, there's very little in the way of it, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was distracted for a second. What I'm trying to say is that it's kind of annoying, because there is no be-all, end-all thing. It's just, we go into, you know, the whole point of it is that Steven convinces White Diamond that she's not perfect. I admit that's kind of clever, you know, imperfect diamonds. That's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny. But by that same margin, it seems like there was more to it. Like, the whole time White is in the show at the end, this whole, clearly something's wrong with her mentally. But there's no instance where some greater problem is revealed. Nothing. It's just she's so stuck up on being perfect that I don't get it. She blinded herself or something?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. And then the ending proper, where they cure all the gems that are corrupted. Is it just me, or does it feel like there's a lot of problems with this? I.e., okay, we've managed to fix them. What's going to happen now? Are they going to stay on Earth? Are they going away? If they're going to stay, where are they going to stay? You see where the problem's coming from, right? Yeah. There is a very serious problem here. We've got alien beings living on Earth, and no one's going to, like, there's no way people are going to say, like, hey, let's help them out, or hey, let's establish this. No, it's just, now they're here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the designs of everyone. Pretty cool. It's an interesting little, like, combination. They're back to normal, but they're still corrupted in some sense. It's kind of cool. It's just, it feels incredibly rushed. Like, the series does not earn this happy ending. Oh god, that sounds horrible. It does not earn this. It does not earn the right to be happy. What is this? No. It's just, it feels like it all led up to an ending that's super rushed and paper thin. That's what it feels like to me. And is it, like I said, more could have been done. More time should have been focused on actually developing stakes, problems, heroes, villains, it's things of that nature. It's just right at the last 5 minutes or whatever. It's all rushed in. Everyone's fixed. Everyone's back to normal. Yada, 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 yada. That's it. There's no change. There is no nothing. I guess the best way to put it is, the story began with nothing, or sorry, not nothing. It began slow, and it ended slow. Nothing was changed, nothing was lost. God, I've rambled like a motherfucker for about a few minutes. I feel so horrible. Is there anything?
We finally get to see what happens when his gem is removed. And then you remember that Pearl almost took his gem while he was a baby.
Another point that shows that she's a horrible person and we should all stone her to death.
That's not going to work anyway.
Oh, that's kind of funny, actually, when you think about it. It's like, I'm going to throw stones at a gem.
You know what's even funnier? Like, we're going to throw stones at a gem. Clearly, there's pebbles that exist in the gem among the gems. That was the weirdest part. There's pebbles now.
No, but there we go. That's another point I want to say. The show is inconsistent. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. The show is incredibly inconsistent with itself. And that's the biggest problem. There is no big, to point out, there is no payoff for anything. And everything, villains suddenly become allies. No one suffers consequences for ill thought out plans. With just nothing. Inconsistency upon inconsistency upon inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
No one is different. No one has changed. Nothing occurs. And when they introduce the stakes, they're resolved so quickly that it just doesn't matter. And the biggest one is, what is a gem? As we all remember, Rebecca and everybody else explained it. Basically, a gem is the body of a gem is nothing but mass, light with mass behind it. And yet, we have pebbles, which are very clearly born. They're not, what's the word? They're not holograms with mass. They're literally grown rocks. So what's with this inconsistency?
I don't know.
Again, I think the only reason why they did this whole they have their light with mass to it is so that way they can depict them getting killed without the censors going mental. That is literally the only reason why I think it is. It is an explanation given to the censors so that way they can get away with horrible things on screen.
Yeah. Like Pearl being impaled. Oh, I appear to have been impaled.
Exactly. That was actually kind of disturbing, really, when you look at it. It's like, just stands there, looks down, it's like, oh dear.
I like how she tries to keep everybody calm even though she's impaled and poof.
Exactly. It's like,
just let her gem hit the floor or let it shatter.
Nobody cares about
that's something I found very, very odd and also very amusing in the show, is that the gems are so delicate that they can crack so easily. When in reality, gemstones don't crack that easily. It takes quite a lot of pressure.
You need something like you would have to drop like a building on a gemstone to get it to break.
Well, depending on the gemstones. But here's the thing, gemstones are actually rated by their hardness. Like, that's what makes them so valuable, is how hard they are.
No comment.
I know. I try not to laugh too. The only character, like the only gem in that show that should be easily shattered is 1, Pearl, 2, Obsidian. Obsidian is very easy to break. And I would know. I grew up around that stuff.
Why do you think obsidian glass is a thing?
Yeah. There's actually a video on YouTube where a guy tried to forge a weapon out of obsidian.
And it just kept breaking?
Yeah. You could do it. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, you get one swing and then it breaks in your hand.
You don't even get a swing. Funny. You pick it up, it'll break. Like, the thing is, like, to make an actual obsidian sword, you have to mix it with metal.
It's like, at first I'm going to stab you, and then my sword's going to break, and you will die from shards of obsidian.
Yeah. Like, the only way you can actually make an obsidian weapon is if you take an already existing base, like a club or a cricket bat, and then attach obsidian to it as the sharpened blades. It's not consistent, but it'll hurt like a motherfucker.
Exactly.
Like, obsidian is also the sharpest material on Earth. But it's insanely brittle.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, and like I said, I've got a lot of issues with Steven Universe. It's to the point where I have to honestly look at why, like, what is it? It's no secret that Steven Universe is a quote-unquote art-driven show. And by that I mean let's just doodle and keep the coolest bit, basically. And as you can imagine, it's led to an inconsistent plot, inconsistent rules, and a story that has no payoff. It just has I can't even consider it a payoff. It's more like, and the story ends as it begins, on a bland note. And there are more problems now than there are actual better things. Like, again, the aforementioned resource shortages. And now we have gemstones living on Earth who likely share Pearl's superiority complex and will likely lead to more problems. But no, everything's happy now because peace on Earth. It's bullshit.
I'm still sad that emeralds are so evil.
Emerald is just floating out there in space with.
At least
Actually,
at least she'll be alive.
But this is the other problem as well. It's Judd. Judd? Yes, I'm talking to Judd now. Ugh. That's the other problem as well with the show, is that it has a bad habit of introducing characters and then they never appear again.
Yeah.
The aforementioned Emerald, the Zircon lawyers.
Well, the Zircon
the
lawyers
little...
were poofed.
Yeah, but it's like, and now they're dead. Are they actually dead?
No, they're imprisoned.
That's right. So we're not even going to bother to help them out. Okay, wow. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the heroes of our series.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the little green and the two topaz. Again, we're not going to do anything about
the what?
That's like I said, the bitch aquamarine and the two topazes.
Oh God.
We're not going to do anything about them.
Well,
like Steven,
we don't need to highlight them. They did their job, which was to bring somebody in, and that was it.
Yeah, but you would think that Steven would have like some. I'm just picturing this now. He has a little beef with her. It's like, as a joke, and immediately she flies up and she's like, "Oh," and then immediately panics when she sees Steven. It's like you see,
like that was something I actually laughed about while watching the final episode, like close to the final episode. He is Pink Diamond. How do you think Aquamarine is reacting to knowing that she imprisoned Pink Diamond and harassed him so bad? Like, also that Ruby. That Ruby, like the one that tried to kill him, and also like was a key witness at the trial.
Again, panicking. Just panicking non-stop wherever they're sitting. Like, the Aquamarine is in her room, sweating buckets, refusing to leave, and the Ruby is running around in circles in a complete panic. Just freaking out back and forth. That's how I see things going. But honestly, it's just... That's my problem. They introduce one-off characters with no resolve to them. There's no payoff. They just bring them in to bring them in. At this point, it's kind of like, again, to use Warframe, it does that too. But with the bosses they introduce, we kill them. Like, there's no more to them. For example, Teal Rigor. He appears, he harasses us for about, a few months, and then we kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Kella the Thane, same thing. She harasses us a little while, we get to know her, and then we kill her. That's it. There's no introduction, motivations, confrontation.
The only one we wish would actually end that quick is Vahak,
who is still floating somewhere in his little drone, laughing. I'm just picturing it now. Just he's flying around Earth, going ha, 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 just all over the place. Is that and Alad V? Those are the two that we have not. Oh, and I guess Nefanya.
Yeah.
So a few.
And Ruckus.
A few are still out there. And Ruckus.
Well, yeah.
I like that. And Ruckus.
Very much.
But, yeah. But these are the only ones who are left. But we will still get satisfaction to kill them after all is said and done. But with, like I said, Steven Universe, it just doesn't do that. It sets up characters, sets up plot, sets up motivation, and falls flat. Falls flat at the finish line. And that is a shame. Because, like I said, I used to like the show, but when I really put my mind to it, when I really, like I said, I write as a hobby. I know what good character creation motivation is. And the more I sat down and really analyzed these characters, the more I realized these are the characters you put in the background. These are not protagonists. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Again, maybe we should set this all up maybe another time as a real deep analysis of Steven Universe, just as a one-shot thing. Not another left random talk, but like as a thing. And see how that goes.
Maybe.
It'd be fun to, God, no, not a marathon. We're not doing that. We would be gray and old. All right, but I guess that covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
All that's left now is the movie, technically. Which I don't think is going to happen, really.
I've got to point out we've been going for 3 hours.
Christ, on this topic alone?
Just in total, we've been going for 3 hours.
Jeez. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine, we're good. We've got.
There is no fucking way that topic is taking 3 hours, dude.
It felt longer than it really was. It's kind of funny. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is going to take a while. 5 hours later. Fuck, it took a while. Actually, I should probably mention one last thing while leaving all this. I am, like I said, when we mentioned the whole movie aspect, I do want to ask, or I guess question this. Do you think they're going to, like, acknowledge all the gems are back and everything, the corrupt ones and everything like that? Do you really think they're going to give any meaningful payoff for this movie, or is it just going to be more of
I don't know.
Truth be told, I think that it's just going to be more of the same. Set up, no payoff. And you know people are going to be clamoring for a spin-off series of Steven Universe, and you know it's going to happen. I'm actually kind of fearing that, really. You know, whenever a popular cartoon is so popular that even when the series is over, they make a new one based on the same universe, like it's an extension.
Transformers.
Ben 10, Transformers.
Fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot after reboot after reboot after reboot.
No, not reboots, not reboot. I mean, it's the same. Yeah, to clarify, it's the same universe, I suppose. But the new series is more of a continuation after. It's like the second movie to the original kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that covers everything then. Woot. Now we're on to our last topic, and that is Eximus. So
I like that we're completely ignoring Fallout. Just like, nope, fuck it.
Oh fuck, we forgot.
That's a very quick one. It's free to play now, people.
Okay, fine. It's going free to play, and people are pissed because people paid the $60 and the early access and
they got scammed out of all this shit.
Exactly, and it's, people are angry, and I called this way back. I said this game is gonna go free to play because they've lost too much money. It's too much money to keep a dumpster fire going, and they don't want to keep doing it. So instead, they're just going to release it as a free-to-play game and make their money off like that. And lo and behold, I was right. Or at least, for now, I'm right, technically.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like I said, there's rumor. It's a rumor at the moment, but we both know it's fucking true. And here's my prediction. It's going to go free-to-play. The modders, porters, like for Gmod and Source Filmmaker, are going to jump in. They're going to take all the assets from the game, and that's it. And then after that, the entire game's just gonna die.
It's like it's gonna go free to play. Then all of these modders are gonna jump in an alley, beat the shit out of it, and then leave with all its valuables.
Exactly. And that's the end of it. There's nothing to come back to after that. This is the death knell of the game. And you know what would be funny? After the game dies and the servers are killed, then it'll be considered a normal Fallout game.
Yeah.
And forever shall it be the stain on the fuckers. All right, moving on. Eximus.
Yeah.
So, to give a quick overview, Eximus is a multiplayer-focused game where you can play in the first-person format, but it also has an RTS mode to it. So, first you've got you can run around in first-person mode to fight, but you can also like command bots to fight with you, command squads to go here, 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 deploy weapons, vehicles, yada, 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 all that stuff. It's a hybrid game, and people really like it because it's never been done before. The game is functional, everything's working. What's not to love? So why are we talking about it? Well, it turns out, and this is something I've said for beginning now, the publishers have been screwing over Eximus's developers. Basically, the publisher has been actively stealing, and I'm not saying this hyperbolically. No, I mean literally stealing the money from the developers because they're the publisher and have tricks, not even tricked Steam, but have basically convinced Steam that they own the right to the money. And the developers have not been seeing a single penny out of this. Literally, they've been working for free while someone's been making all the dosh. To the point where they were releasing more and more stuff for the game and we're not getting any money for it. That is, like I said, it was horrible. It was hell. And so, that said, what happened? Well, basically, the developers had enough, and they basically said, they issued a DMCA takedown notice against themselves. Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
That's how bad it got. They couldn't get out of this. Oh, sorry. But that's how bad it got. They could not get out of this deal. That was how bad it had gotten. They had actually become, they were being used by the publisher. The publisher was raking money. They had to go use the system, go to Steam support, and actually ask Steam to help them get the rights to their game back. Luckily, it has happened. They have actually gotten control of their game, and now the money they need from the fans or the supporters of the game. That said, it is unclear at this time if they can recover any of the money that was stolen from them by the publisher or if he's managed to run off with the cash. And so this brings me to what I need to say. This is what a publisher is. They are parasites. They are pariahs. They make the developers work to death creating a product, and then when the product is launched and everything, they'll swoop in, steal, and then leave the developers for dead, and basically kill it. That is what a publisher is. They are not partners. They are not allies. They are not anything to a game developer. They are a parasite. They are a parasite that will latch on and, much like a lamprey, suck the life out of the game developers until they're dead, and then move on to the next thing. Because they have enough money to throw around thanks to their cannibalistic methods, and will simply hop on to the next one. And this is a problem I want to say. Developers should stop going to publishers. Because the publisher does not care whether this successful or not. All they care about is how much money the developer, and then that's it. And then they'll move on to the next IP target they have, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next.
The only instance I can think of that where that doesn't really happen is Chucklefish.
So,
Chucklefish is a game developer and publisher, and Stardew Valley is not actually one of their games. It's made by an independent guy who came to them asking them to be the publisher of it. And recently he got his game back to himself. There's no ill will between the two, and Chucklefish is happy for him. In fact, he's even working on a new game.
yeah. But this is the problem. We're talking about low-level publishers, individuals who have no experience under their belt, and so need the goodwill of a developer to keep going. But the bigger ones, the EAs, the Activisions, they don't care. They will lamprey off of a developer's goodwill and kill them. And once they're dead, they move on. They don't give a shit. They don't. Because at the end of the day, it's not their money on the line. It's not their livelihoods on the lines. It's someone else's. Someone else will be left holding the bag, and then they get to run around and do it all over again. And like I said, I think more developers need to go independent. I think they need to stop worrying so much about how their game will be marketed, and instead do it themselves. Like, example, like what Toby Fox did, what the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's did. All these people went independent, and they have been reaping the rewards of a job well done.
Scott
And that's what
Cawthon.
needs to happen now. Scott Cawthon, thank you. That's what needs to happen. More people need to stop seeking out publishers and just, self-publish, advertise themselves, show their product, show, as I've said, vertical slices of levels, and say, this is what I'm working on. If you can back me, that'd be great, yada, yada, yada. And that's it. When they produce a product, they swim in cash. And then they have that people who supported them the first time coming back and supporting them double. That's the problem that publishers don't understand. It's the people that keep them afloat, not their avarice and not their greed. That is a lesson they'll never learn. And like I said, a lot of independent developers are waking up to the dangers that are publishers. Again, I'll use another one, Shadows of the Dam, made by Suda51. That entire game was supposed to be something different. Suda went to EA hoping to get his game noticed, even though he had no intentions of making millions off of his game. It was more like, hey, I could use the exposure. I want people to play my game. And then EA wasted no time in trying to sabotage his project so they could, absorb him. Luckily, he never signed a contract with them, and so they never captured him. But that's the problem. This is what I've said 100 times over, and I keep saying it. Developers are, publishers are snakes, and it's best to avoid them if at all possible. Ugh. Sorry, my micro rant is over.
Yeah.
Oof. Anything you want to say?
Nope.
All right. I guess that's everything then. Yeah, that's about everything. XMS's developers are fine. They've managed to recoup their losses. Now it's just a matter of finding that publisher and getting back what they owe. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Left for Random Talk, episode 38. As per usual, HH will have a few words for you all at the end of this little, broadcast. How you can help and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. This has been Rev, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.
Okay. So the end of the streams, I always tell you guys, this is what you can do and what you really shouldn't do because it's not going to help. We try to stream this every Thursday. my schedule's gotten a little fucked up because of an incident here. I can't really stream every day anymore. I might stream on Sundays, I might stream on Saturdays. We'll have to wait and see. Just things have gotten so messed up here that I can't do any work. Down below in the description on YouTube, sometimes it shows up. Lately it hasn't. Thank goodness. And also down below on Twitch, there is a link and a creeper face. They are both the exact same thing. And they tell you, you can support the stream by clicking here. Don't click on them. They're not helping us right now. I am still very much working on that, and I think I might actually have a breakthrough on it. I've said this once or twice before, and it doesn't fall through. This time, I am putting as much faith as I can into it. Yeah. If you're watching us on Twitch, we are going to be hosting Lycan Alpha. He is drawing right now. Who knows how long he'll be gone. If you're watching us on YouTube, I am sorry, this is where we end. If you guys have any questions or suggestions for us, I need to actually put the link in the description here. If you have any suggestions or questions or messages for us, there will be a link to my Tumblr down below, where you can just send the messages to me because we've kind of given up on our own Tumblr account or Tumblr page. I forgot to post this on Tumblr. Dang it. Yeah, for now, we'll see you guys next Thursday, hopefully. Hope you guys enjoy liking.